wow. You can do that kind of thing. You can do like
This
R&B stuff too. You can.
Yep.
Hey, the very first time that I saw your brown eyes. Oh, yeah, you can do all kinds of shit.
Welcome to this episode of Pan Con Podcast. I'm Nick Jiménez. I'm joined by chef, chili cook-off champion, and 8th grade basketball MVP, Michael Beltrán.
Now that's a factual statement.
There
that
you
I'll
go.
stand behind. We were 1-14, but I'm still proud of that trophy.
Good stuff. And
Tell the people what you won. We just found out today that you're
I won
country
something?
music dance champion
Oh,
of
that's
Nebraska.
right. I have been trying to keep that close to the chest. Nebraska line dancing champion,
There it is.
1997.
Like the state of or the university itself?
This is a
Because
good
I'm
question.
not
I
like
love
now,
that we're digging
like,
in deep. This is a
I
good
got to
question.
figure this thing out real quick.
It hadn't even occurred to me that the University of Nebraska probably does have a line dancing team.
There's no question.
Yeah.
There's no question.
So I went to Mizzou, and
nice.
so the Mizzou-Nebraska thing was an interesting experience.
Played against Nebraska.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
National championship game.
That's right.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's right. I'll never forget Vilma's,
And Dunn did him in, too. So that's...
Vilma's hit on that tight end, that poor tight end. Do you remember he's crossing the middle?
Yeah, well, of course. Well, because who was on the sideline ended up being my future right guard for the Rams in the NFL was Richie Incognito, that everybody knows down here.
I love that guy.
He's my favorite.
I love that guy. I don't
so
care
I
what
became
anyone
like his
says.
babysitter / best friend when I got to St. Louis. And
Babysitters.
yeah, well, it was a little bit of both. You know, he's a little bit of a hot mess. So everybody knows that. And then basically I hear the stories of what happened that game. That player never recovered ever again. And
That tight end?
yeah, and literally was in the shower after the game asking everybody if they won. Had zero clue.
Well, they
and even
definitely-
telling me about the athletic director showing up at halftime and the head coach saying, "Let's just try to keep this one close, boys." Like that, they knew they were done by halftime. So
For those of you playing Guess the Guest at home, we are joined.
for those of you ladies that are out there sitting on the speaker, Howard Stern style right now,
Over at Bobby's Tacos.
Bravo Tango, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage.
That was good. We are with Brett Romberg. I believe, I haven't checked this, but I'm going to make a wild statement, a claim about this podcast.
Wow.
No chef-hosted podcast has had more University of Miami Hall of Famers than Pan Con Podcast.
I'd say
Podcast.
that's a factual
That
statement.
has to be true.
Probably right.
Joaquin- between you,
Now that I'm looking
Joaquin,
at
and Ed.
Joaquin and Eddie.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah,
You had
we
some good quality guests on.
I know.
How did you enjoy Ed Reed's conversation?
Man, Ed Reed is one of the best human beings I've ever
He's a
met.
solid guy.
He's one of the best human beings I've ever met. I enjoyed that conversation through and through. It was like, I mean, I'm obviously a big fan too
Right.
growing up. So, and that was when I was in high school, was when Ed was playing at So I was like, and I was playing
What
high
year
school
were you
ball.
born in then? What year were you?
I was
80?
born in 1985.
You're an 85 baby. That's like my brother. Yeah, cool. Awesome.
1985. So, in high school ball, I mean, was like the thing.
And we were popping then too.
Man,
things were going well.
Were we ever? I say we as a fan.
You claim it.
Yeah,
Claim it.
I'll
I think
claim it.
think that's the best part about the University of Miami at that point in time was everybody claimed it. Like in terms of this community, we were like the community was the University of Miami football program.
I went to college in Virginia. I played college football at a small Division III school in Virginia, and every single human being around me was Virginia Tech fan.
Of
Right?
course. Yeah.
And I didn't care. I gave zero fucks. I still talked all the shit that I possibly could talk,
That's
and I
funny.
fucking. And
So there was like Old Dominion up there. You had the Cavs.
Well, I went to games. I remember I went to the game at NC State that Hester took back a punt, like the first punt,
Right.
back to the house. Like I was at that game. It was like on our bye week or something, and it was just like, Miami was. That is the kind of attitude I wanted to take to my entire life, and that is how I took my attitude to Division III football, which
Right.
didn't translate super well for the coaches in the Baptist school that I went
Well,
to.
judging by that menu that I just witnessed in the restaurant there, you basically said "fuck you" to all the typical
Yes.
menu items that you would see down here in South
Nothing
Florida.
is typical.
No,
And nothing
absolutely
should be
not.
typical.
It reminded me a lot. No bullshit. It reminded me a lot of. I got off the plane in Norway, and it was my family's hometown. So my family's from Norway, and I went back there one time to kind of like, I don't know. I guess you could say find myself. I don't know.
Touch your roots.
Yeah, one of those kind of things. And the minute I got off the plane, I ended up putting my bags in the hotel, and I went to this one restaurant. So I said, where do I got to go into this town to have a badass meal? I go into this one place. The town is called Trondheim, and I go in there. I sit down. Everything's all wood. It looks like a giant log cabin right next to a river, and it's like elk, deer sausage, and like a lot of that game / right now it's the season. I'm killing and I'm cooking what I'm eating, basically. You know, that whole European mentality, which is incredible. And it resembled a lot of what I just saw here on the menu when I just came here.
Thanks.
Beautiful. Like the flavor's incredible. The fact that you're mixing the berries, obviously, with, you know, the different meat products, and the cheeses are banging. I'm a sodium digester, if you would.
Okay.
I think today, I'm about, 3,000 or 4,000, no doubt, 3,000 or 4,000 of sodium today. 100, no doubt, because I ate a half a bag of beef jerky this morning.
Nice.
And I'm trying to keep the carbs down.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So let me ask you, let's talk about like the whole progression from when did football become the thing for you, and then when you decided to take that to the next level? Because I think in any kind of like younger athlete's life, you're like, you decide to start taking things seriously. Any good athlete, young athlete that decides to take things seriously will make it to the next level.
Cool.
And then it's like the next level.
Nobody's ever asked me that before. It does fall in line with a lot of stories that I used to tell, but I was a baseball guy. I played ball. I was like, Team Canada, like legit scouted by major leagues, the whole thing, getting ready to play baseball, and wasn't too interested in football because, let's face it, I'm in Canada. Not much going on up there football-wise. We have football, we have the CFL. And a side note, they actually asked the British Columbia BC Lions CFL professional football team one time, they asked their coach, now that Brett Romberg is retired, you have his draft rights because they drafted me. They said, is Romberg coming to the CFL? And he goes, why is our team for sale? Is he trying to buy it? So he kind of mocked the salaries, that those guys are getting up there. So I grew up wanting to be a baseball player, legitimately loving baseball, never really taken football serious. But then a high school football coach really persuaded and pushed me to start favoring football as opposed to baseball due to the fact that I was growing bigger, I was stronger, and then I was hitting the weight room hardcore. So, and I was hitting the weight room to pull tail. I'm not going to lie to you. I did sports for chicks. Totally transparent on that. No doubt about it. I think that's the majority of us do it. Yeah, the majority of us do it. I wasn't looking for an accolade. I wasn't looking for a pat on the back. I was looking for chicks. Ultimately, that's the reason why I got into it.
I mean, when you're like 13 or 14 years old, 15, 16 years old, I mean, it's the best way.
It's the end-all deal.
My girlfriend in high school was a cheerleader at Lourdes. So,
you had a Lourdes girl. My wife's a Lourdes girl.
I mean, I went to Columbus.
Yeah, my wife's a Lourdes girl.
That made complete sense at that
funny.
Time in my life.
Of course.
That's.
I know my wife did like 1 year at Carrollton, I think. Maybe 2 years at Carrollton, and then it wasn't for her, and then she ended up going over to Lourdes, and she was all into that cheerleading stuff too.
There you go. There you go. Mm-hmm. So then, how did you end up at UM?
There's like this ranking system because in Canada you can't get athletic scholarships. The only way to get a scholarship is academically. A lot of people didn't know that. So I was the #1 high school football player in Canada. So I literally
the whole fucking thing,
the whole country,
all of Canada,
all of it, all 15 miles from the border of the United States.
That's
where the general population lives. Yeah, I was all of it. Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying,
it's massive. It's massive, but there's
swath of land.
Even the French part.
Yeah, even the Frenchies. You better believe it. Yeah, even the grenouilles, the frogs. Yeah, man, they. I was #1 in Canada, and then I elected to get as far as fucking possible from Canada. I never heard of the University of Miami, never knew about Miami. We came here on a family vacation. We came to Fort Lauderdale on a family vacation.
Very different.
And that's the only thing I knew about it. And I actually, ironically, because I think Jesse Palmer already was at Florida at the time, and Jesse kind of turned me on to the Florida Gator logo because I liked the color of it. It was a gator, which obviously we don't have in fucking Canada. So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then it's blue and orange, and that's kind of got cool colors. But little did I know I would grow to hate that later on in life. Yeah.
Gross.
Really, really putrid.
Oof.
But there's really good guys that come from, like, all the guys that I played with in the
there's
league.
like some good fans too, but I
wouldn't go that
always
far.
There's some. Listen, there's some, right? There's some. I always go back to this one time I went to a game at the Swamp, and it was all the same person. It was all an Abercrombie and Fitch wearing shirt with the things up, and then you're wearing chancletas, and then you're talking tough from 50 yards away, and then when you get up close, you're very quiet. That is, like, in essence, what the Gator fan is.
Oh, there's podelitos everywhere.
Everywhere. I love your use of all the Miami words. Let's go. Continue. This is good.
No, trust me. That's another thing. People, I'm the sleeper. I'm the Spanish sleeper. So people
with that mustache, you must be.
Well, I got the sticker put on my car when I tried to pick up my kid from school today. They just said, you can't come within 100 yards of this school. You got to leave, sir. I don't know what you're doing here. But yeah, no, I'm no longer allowed to pick up my kids anymore. I'm growing out the stash for the Movember thing. I figure I'm worried
Put context on that.
I'm worried about my balls. So back in 2003 or 4, in Australia, they started this Movember thing, this movement for raising awareness for prostate cancer. The girls got October with the boobies. So I said, what the hell? Why not go ahead and just get a little bit of the month of November as well? So when I got to Atlanta, I participated in the Movember movement of raising money and awareness for men's health and prostate cancer and all that other stuff. Plus, I was assaulted, when I was like 24 years old by a doctor who was just supposed to undo my testicular torsion, and he ended up giving me a prostate exam at the same time, which later I didn't know that you were supposed to be around 45, 50 years old before you get one. So I just took that one on the chin in front of my wife and everything too. It was brutal. You can't recover from that. I went home laid in the bottom of the shower for a few hours.
Did he have a mustache?
He needed one.
Oh, he needed one. He didn't have one. But
it felt like he had one.
That's how you let him so close. You didn't see the
was
mustache.
Deceiving, that bugger. He was licking his lips and everything. It was unbelievable.
So you went on vacation to Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, man.
Which is very different than Miami.
Which was fucking incredible.
You saw what?
A bikini contest, which I wasn't aware that those existed. And I was 12 or 13 years old. And
Life changed forever.
Oh, fuck. It was unbelievable. I used to just go to town on baseball tournaments between the box spring and the mattress, and I continued that event later on in life as much as possible, but especially that vacation, which was weird because that's awkward explaining that one, but yeah, man, seeing girls walk around with thongs and tan skin
just like Canada
in December and January was incredible. It was very similar to what goes on in Canada, where you could actually see people's veins through their skin when it comes to those kind of months. Goddamn interview with a vampire going on up there. Nobody sees the sun.
I went before the world changed. I had just returned from Montreal like the week before.
Oh, cool. How do you like Montreal's a great city though. It's a banging,
it was
fun
amazing,
city.
and the
great food
was amazing.
Incredible.
The whole thing was amazing. Like my business partner is from Canada,
cool.
We went because I had never been. So we went to Al Pied de Cochon. We went to Joe Beef. We went to.
Did you go to Super Sex at all, or no? None of the establishments.
None of that establishment we didn't go to.
Chiperie?
No.
Golly.
Apparently, I missed out.
The problem is there's a couple, like, what happens is they migrated. So Hell's Angels has got a huge footprint in Canada, right? The HA.
Oh, yeah?
Huge. If anything's happening in Canada, the HA's got their hand on it. So they usually started in Montreal, and it started migrating south towards Toronto, Mississauga area. So all of the smoke show, badass, amazing, drop-dead, crazy, gorgeous peelers that were up in Montreal started heading south. And all of a sudden, they started infiltrating Toronto and doing the Mississauga scene, and that became incredible. That was a gift from God. It really was. It was incredible. Like natural, like that whole lip injection, ass implant shit. That don't happen up there. That doesn't go down up there. And then you'll get like up there, you get like Lebs, you get Greeks. So you'll have like jet black hair with blue piercing eyes and tan, ironically, for some freaking reason. Like the look up in Canada between the the Yugoslavian, Macedonian, Persian, Greek, Arab, whatever it could be, Lebanese. It's incredible. It's incredible, that mixture.
It was a very different experience for me the 4 days I was there.
I bet.
Just like, but the food. I mean,
isn't the food amazing there?
Oh,
there's
man.
so many good restaurants. Like I think, are you a big French food, like the richness and sauces and all that stuff?
That's what I do. You just had charcuterie. You need to come back for dinner, sir. Yeah. It's eye opening. That's what we do here. Anyways, let's talk about UM.
Okay.
How did you get to UM? Who recruited you from
Arthur
Canada?
Francis Kehoe. the offensive line coach, same guy that
Art
recruited
Kehoe.
Joaquin. Yeah, Art Kehoe, the heaviest angel in the world, portly looking fella. But yeah, Arthur Francis was up there. He actually was recruiting a kid in Michigan, and he decided to jump over the border because I'm literally a stone's throw away. Like I could see Detroit skyline, and he just jumped over, and there was a combine going on, like a workout session going on for a lot of the local South Canadian, Southern Ontario, Toronto South kind of talent. And, they had like Michigan States and Ohio States and Michigan and all that was there. Very rare you're going to get a school from all the way from the South.
Man,
so
I hate all those schools going.
I know. I loved them growing up. And I actually even visited the Ohio State thing too, which is incredible. I try not to.
The fact that you called them the Ohio State, I have a problem with. But just
I know, pretty brutal.
Yeah,
I had Katzenmoyer, who I had like a hard on for that dude. He was a middle linebacker back in the day. Crazy human being, unbelievable. He was like Greg Floyd from the Steelers, who was a black guy, ironically. This Katzenmoyer wasn't clearly, and Kevin Green. And just animals at the linebacker position. And I love defense. I wasn't even thinking of offense.
Defense is much funner.
Way more fun.
Way
more fun.
Much more fun.
And and then Michigan was like, you're too small to be an offensive lineman for us, so we want you to play D-line. And I was just like, okay. And then Arthur Francis is like walking up and down going, Miami. And I keep looking around, and AFK is like 5'10". So I was like looking for somebody like talking about Miami. I couldn't see anybody. He wasn't wearing any Miami gear. And I found out it was him, and he was like, "I'd like to get you down, to take a visit and come and see this campus and all that stuff." So, came down here on a visit, and I just said, "How far is this place again away from Canada?" Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and sign up and do it. So I said,
You can't get any farther.
I want it out, man. I God bless everybody that does the whole 9-to-5 factory auto working thing, which the majority of everybody in my hometown growing up did. Fords, Chryslers, and GM are right there in my backyard. Green Giant and Heinz Ketchup, like it's a very factory-driven, monotonous wake up.
It's that like
put your
middle
time
America,
in.
that part of America that kind of makes it run.
Totally, 100%.
It's the part of America like that blue collar fucking.
It is. It really is.
Get shit done part because I have a good friend in Cleveland, and I felt very similar about like what happened in Ohio.
Yep.
And then I went over to Detroit. I did a dinner in Detroit. This was years ago, and I just felt the same thing there. It's interesting because Miami is not like that.
Totally not. Miami,
anyways.
Miami was a little bit of an eye opener. Sheltered when I first got to campus because you don't really get off of it too much. So, but then like learning about this person's driving a $90,000 car, but he's pulling up to a rental unit that is costing him $600 and he's not making his rental payments. So I learned about that lifestyle because in Canada that doesn't exist. Canada, you don't really own credit cards. You don't buy it unless you can afford it, unless you can pay cash for it. Like people buying houses, like they're saving and saving and saving, and they buy houses they pay for. They're not interested in borrowing money. It's a very simple style of living up there. It's not like very rare you're going to see something funky. You see a Ferrari or a Lambo, like even in Norway. That was another thing. Canada is very similar to Europe in terms of the way that they live. Very, very similar. They're not looking to outshine or live better or look better than anybody else. They're not interested in being better than their neighbor. They're just living life, man. Just
it's the opposite of Miami.
Totally opposite.
Yeah,
it really is.
Complete and utter opposite. You'll have someone that drives a $120,000 car and they'll drive up to an RV.
100%.
Yeah,
fucking 100% a campground.
Yeah.
You better believe it. Yeah, man. With a goddamn sleeping bag in the back of it. Yeah.
Didn't you live with Joaquin when you got here?
Yeah. We that was the best part about when I got here, man. I didn't know what to expect, obviously, and
well, Joaquin is a Columbus guy, so you automatically were put into a good situation.
Him and his family, like they, as much as I like to bust his balls about, like Joaquin's the type of guy that will trip and fall and like look, and then all of a sudden what just sheltered him from smashing his face off the ground would be like, $25,000 stack that's on the ground. And he just finds it, he just picks it up and puts it in his pocket. This is the person that Joaquin Gonzalez is. He's the luckiest human being. And then, growing up and learning that, luck is only because you've prepared yourself for an opportunity.
When preparation meets opportunity.
That's what it's called.
100%.
Exactly. That's
luck.
Luck
is when, oh man, my college coach used to say that shit to us all the fucking
But it's
time.
true. Like, if you really think about it, like the slapdick that trips and falls and just all of a sudden has a lottery ticket is so few and far between. And like, he'll be broke in 10 years anyway. But the guy that really has worked his balls off, and then all of a sudden that opportunity presents itself, he's ready to take advantage of it. I'm a firm believer in that. But yeah, Joaquin, fucking guy. born with a rabbit's foot up his ass and his umbilical cord still stuck to his mom.
Well, he's a
Like,
Columbus
still
guy, so it makes complete sense. That's why he's just still crushing the game. That's Joaquin Gonzalez. I'll take that 100%. So, I mean, your years at UM were the good years. That's when UM was, I mean, I remember it vividly. It's hard to, like, top those college football teams. As in, you could talk about college football as however long you want.
Right.
Those teams have Hall of Famers on top of Hall of Famers on top of Hall of Famers.
And I think it really did give me a jaded view of how good we really were. If you ask a lot of us, so you ask Ed Reed, you ask Joaquin, you ask all of us, how good did we really think we were?
What's up, man?
And we just like, it was like kind of.
You guys like rum?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I'm not nervous. I'm not nervous for a little glass of rum. What do you got there?
I know this guy.
What do you got there?
Oh, man.
Nick.
Who are we looking at right now?
Steve Fernandez.
Oh, shit. How you been?
Good to see
Yeah,
you,
I didn't
brother.
recognize you with the thing.
These things are like fucking big aviator glasses for girls, aren't they? Like
What?
they're really deceptive. Like you could have a smoke show looking girl with some crazy looking eyes, and all of a sudden you pull her gear off, and
Well,
she's kinda
now it's
deceiving.
like, how do you actually smile? You smile through your eyes now,
Are we ready to do a shot here,
apparently.
I
gentlemen?
really appreciate that.
Salute.
Cheers. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, definitely.
That's good.
Oh, that's so good. What'd you do there?
We heard you guys like rum. That's all we know.
Oh my God,
Got my nipple.
that's got everything going on right now.
We'll hear you guys soon on the podcast.
Oh,
Thanks,
you.
man.
Yeah. That thump you just heard, that was my penis hitting the bottom of the table. That was fantastic.
Now on 1210 The Man, Romberg's penis hits the bottom of the table.
Oh, I'm going to use that a lot.
Yeah.
That's going to be our 1210 The Man promo on like every episode.
And you're still waiting for 1210 The Man
Yeah.
money, aren't you? Yes.
Yeah,
Everyone at this table, I think, is still waiting for 1210 The Man money.
I have no problem saying that. Yeah.
So obviously Joaquin is, aside from all the knocks that I keep giving him, he's got to be by far one of my best friends I've ever had in my life. And you call the guy, he's there. You need something, he's there. There's been people that have actually reached out to him and asked to borrow money. And he's given more than they've asked, with not a question in the ass, and like just take it. I'm not looking for you to pay me back. You're hard up. I'm doing okay. Congratulations. You know what I mean? That's the type of person he is. Like, for instance, when I almost killed a girl on spring break in Key West, he paid for my fucking scooter. And, yeah. You know, it's just... She went to Syracuse, though, so it is what it is.
Oh, I mean, that's fine.
Yeah, no, we... that's a whole other fucking banger. We used to do Key West every spring break. And we go down there. We all get scoots. Obviously, I'm Canadian. I don't have a goddamn American credit card. So Joaquin puts the scooters on his card. You can't give a degenerate Canadian kid who's wasted all the time a scooter, which we did. And I'm trying to jump curbs with girls on the back.
Perfect.
Going 40 miles an hour, and it just doesn't work out too well. So I had this cute little Syracuse girl who, blonde, short skirt, tube top. We just, ironically, there was like 4 or 5 of us, and we all picked up. All 5. Like, it's very rare that you're going to
Old
get...
lineman?
Yes. So we're all mutants. We're fat slobs, and, you know...
Oh, I mean, come on.
We're
line has changed.
We're obviously throwing the liners that were football players out there. And ironically, we meet a group of Syracuse girls. And show snuff, awesome. Everything goes well. But we decide, because one of the guys wants to take a moonlit ride along the ocean.
Oh, that's cute.
And I decide to start
guy is
jumping curbs.
Come on,
He was 5 years older than us.
Oh,
And
moonlit ride. Huh?
it was a moonlit ride along the beach, and
Key West.
Yeah, and I just tried to jump the curb with her on the back, and it just didn't work out too well. So, needless to say, ambulances showing up and everything, like really bad. Like we ended up that night we were in the hospital the whole night, and
college is fun.
yeah, it was a great time. You know, I hope she's good though.
Oh man, do you remember her name? No, absolutely not.
I never do.
Yeah.
You know, it's not important. No,
Yes!
I'm being an asshole.
Oh man,
Look at this.
like an angel. Because all the Belen guys just brought Brett and Red a fucking shot. Didn't bring me shit.
Oh, you guys
So.
got a cute little fan club.
Oh yeah, I know it's cute.
We got a cute little
Men
fan
for
club.
others.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's a whole thing with them. It's cool.
Testosterone. Mhm. Oh yeah.
All I know is that Joaquin went to Columbus.
Joaquin lent me money for school.
That's good.
Joaquin is a great dude, man. Like and then it's not even just him. Like, it's very rare that you're going to have a person that's independently a very good person. His family, his parents, his mother, they would literally bring us all in and cook for us. And I wasn't, and that was another thing that my
Well, it's like a very Hispanic thing. Though.
well, I didn't realize that
Yeah,
either. You
very
know what
Hispanic.
I mean? Like my wife obviously is Cuban, and her family would get
Welcome.
literally.
That means you're now part of the club.
No, it's fucking brutal, man. and on Sundays, it was almost a slap in the face if I didn't show up for lunch.
Oh yeah.
But I didn't realize this because I'm thinking, look, this girl's family feels like I'm mooching off them, and it's not that at all. It's just it has nothing to do with that. And I literally was very uncomfortable with going there and jumping in their pool and eating their food and playing around with their daughter.
They get more offended if you don't want to do that.
They were fucking livid to the
Yeah.
point where they would set me places at the dinner table, and if I'm not showing up, it was like my wife was calling, my girlfriend at the time was calling me saying,
Very
"What the
upset.
hell what are you doing?" And
What's your problem?
yeah, like, what is your deal, man? You're weird. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm Canadian.
I'm Canadian.
I'm Canadian.
That's
I'm
not weird. I'm just Canadian.
I'm 2 countries removed from you, motherfucker. Like, leave me alone. You're Cuban. Calm down. You're not even American. Calm down. So
What,
yeah.
What was last year at UM? What year was that?
The Fiesta Bowl, the 0-2 game against Ohio State. And then I tried to finish my master's that spring, but it didn't go too well. I fucked off. I was with Jeremy Shockey and the Maloof brothers that whole spring.
Oh man, Jeremy Shockey, what a good tight
Yeah,
end.
he moved in after his first year in the NFL with the Giants when he just took the world by storm. He came back, and Dorsey went and lived with his girl, and Shock moved into Dorsey's room. And me and Shockey in a house is not a good idea.
I couldn't imagine that being a good.
It wasn't
combination.
productive. It wasn't productive.
Yeah, I could imagine that.
Yeah, it didn't go well. Between the Maloof's inside stuff bus pulling up to the front of our house to whatever was going on, it just like the Hummers and Escalades and all these other stuff that was in the front yard.
Very Miami.
Yeah, well, the fact that my brother didn't even have a license was even more impressive. And then we're going to the Atlantis every other weekend and spending the weekends in the Atlantis. And
Man, this sounds great.
no, it was an eventful. My brother used to go to the Atlantis with like EJ, Bubba, Shockey.
Bubba Franks?
Yeah,
Oh man,
yeah.
what
That was my brother's weekends. He would work at like a fish aquarium import guy's warehouse by the airport during the week, and literally go to the Atlantis on the weekends and go to a suite and enjoy life a lot better than I was enjoying it. So yeah, it was incredible times, man. It was.
We won't
fucking
talk about
awesome.
the Fiesta Bowl, but it was.
Yeah.
was-
I literally haven't seen the game. So I did a thing for
Oh,
ESPN
wow.
where they replayed it this year, and we did like a commentating thing.
how
Thank
we got
God
robbed.
we actually did the taping obviously a lot prior to it, so we didn't have to watch the game. So, and me not being a vain human being, well, I guess you could say I am, but for the most part, I don't think I'm that vain. I'm not going to sit there and watch myself play football.
Yeah.
I used to watch it for work to like analyze and
Yeah, you gotta watch
critique
film.
yeah, exactly.
Right.
To basically do my job. But after that, I've never seen any of my games like watching leisurely ever. I'm not that guy. I can't do that.
Did you ever listen to any of the times you were on radio?
Nope.
Yeah,
That was another thing. They would tell me, "Hey, go home and critique and listen to yourself." The
Oh.
pros do that, and I'm like, "Well, the pros are fucking weird because I can't sit there and listen to myself
Right?
talk. I can't do
listen
that.
to myself talk either.
I can't do that. Man.
Sounds weird.
Yeah, I'm
I
not-
don't
I'm
like
not
the sound of my
interested.
own voice. It sounds like I don't want to hear myself talk.
I feel like I'm a pederast. I can't do it.
Yeah, I guess.
Like,
So-
can you imagine, like, you're sitting in your car and you're listening to your own fucking podcast, and all of a sudden somebody knocks on your window and you roll the window down, and it's like, you're in here sitting there listening to yourself talk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
It's weird.
I don't want any part of that.
I'd rather get caught assalting myself in a parking lot other
That
than
would
listening
that
to
would
myself.
also be weird, but more acceptable.
You can go to jail for that. That's you can do time for that, brother. That's going to cost you. That's going to cost you.
So after the Fiesta Bowl,
Went to Vegas and saw Maurice Claret getting paid a fuck ton of money by some Ohio State Buckeye family to come and hang out. Yeah, it was awkward how that works out. But yeah. Yeah, and then went home, and then just
He had a great career in the NFL.
it was phenomenal, right? What, they got arrested for like driving down the road with a bunch of guns in his car. Master P was his agent.
Yep.
Yeah.
I will still to this day never say that we lost that game.
Oh, Terry Port. Terry, that motherfucker lives like blocks away from the university.
Blocks away from the university.
How's that possible?
It just doesn't make any sense. It still bothers me.
Oh, Terry.
Didn't you go undrafted and make
Yep. Yeah, I did. Yeah. So yeah.
So you went undrafted.
Yeah, man. I did like the whole All-American thing and the Remington Award thing, and they kind of deemed me a really good college center, but not really physically able to play in the NFL.
Why?
Size and arm length. They really knocked my fucking arm length. I didn't even realize I had short arms until.
I feel a lot of NFL centers are pretty compact.
Yeah, especially the good ones now. Obviously,
Yeah.
I missed my time. So I was either too late for the Stepnowski / smaller centers that were light that like to pull, and I was too early for the Kelseys of the world, the Philadelphia Eagles center, and some of the really good. I came out like right around the time that that polar Barrett Robbins guy, the guy that's bipolar that missed the Super Bowl. Like I just was after that guy where they thought you had to be 300 plus to road grade people. The whole pulling concept of centers really wasn't. Mike Webster and all those guys, like Andre Dawson and those guys, I
But
missed
also,
it.
the game since that year has changed a lot.
Totally.
I mean, now
Mobile quarterbacks.
It's mobile quarterbacks. It's all about throwing the football.
Totally.
I mean, how many ground and pound teams are there?
It doesn't exist anymore.
Doesn't exist
Like even the
anymore.
Cowboys tried to hang on, and you could see that's obviously changing now with their quarterback choice with Dak Prescott and stuff. So it's
Yeah, but Dak still sits in the pocket much more than a Kyler Murray does.
totally.
I mean, he.
Even our own guy here in our own backyard, Tua. Like I think Tua is going to try to establish himself as a pocket passer, and he's going to try to make that point.
You're going to trigger me with the Dolphins. I'm very triggered.
Are you a big Dolphins fan?
More so than a Canes fan.
Really?
Yeah, and
you're hardcore.
Hardcore, and I'm a huge Canes fan. But just like the Dolphins, I've just been beaten and bruised for the last 20 years, so I'm still having a hard time believing. But
it's been rough.
it's been very rough.
Needless to say, it's been very, very rough. And then and then here's the thing that people don't understand. So I've been doing a lot of sports radio over the last so many years, and people can't fathom the fact that I don't watch sports. Like they don't understand. Like even my mother is like, she used to call me and be like, "Oh, did you watch the Colts play? Did you watch this game? Did you watch that?" And I'm just like, "Fuck no, Mom." It's like you work at a casino. Do you go home and watch the poker tournament? No, like it's like you going home and watching fucking cooking shows.
Absolutely not. And it's also like me going home and cooking. That's also not happening.
You don't cook at home.
Absolutely not. I also have a fucking closet as a kitchen. I do not cook at home.
Really?
Absolutely not.
So that whole thing of like, oh, my boyfriend's a chef, he comes home and makes me the fucking best thing in the world. Does that happen? Or in order to get up in them drawers, you got to go ahead and cook something in the beginning.
Depends. Yeah, my fiance is vegetarian. So
How does that? You're serving venison.
I serve a lot of big meats. So
No pun intended.
Hey,
There we go. Slide that one in. Unedited.
So that was like it was a lot.
But do you have to learn like a really eclectic way to go ahead and make a bunch of different vegetarian dishes too? Like you have vegetarian dishes on your menu? You got to have one, right?
We do, but this restaurant that you just dined at is very seasonal based.
Got it.
So when
You must be loving the fall then. The fall,
when
winters.
this starts happening now, we start to see more vegetables, and then we'll be able to put vegetable dishes. It's like I told you when you were sitting at the bar. Like, we don't do things typically. Just because people usually do these things, like, the fucking, everyone does the grilled carrots with a hummus thing. And it's like, if carrots are out of season, we're not going to do them. Just because everyone has a tomato salad, if tomatoes aren't in season, we're not going to do them.
Right.
So, yes, we will, when come like December, January, our menu will be 40% vegetables because that's who I am. That's what we do. But if it's fucking August, you're not going to get that from me.
People don't get that. They don't understand the cyclical thing about the grocery store either, where why are oranges on sale now? Well, motherfucker, because like you have a plethora of them and they're like in abundance right now. Why are they not on sale during the wintertime? Well, I don't know, dude, because there's none available. They don't get that. And you know who really made me learn to appreciate? So I come from a very fruitful, farm-friendly area in southern Ontario where we're known for our growing of plenty of food items. Like our soil has been rich. That's really, really good. That's why we got Green Giant and Heinz and all these other different places. Every backyard has tomatoes and squash and cucumber and rhubarb and all that other. Everybody makes their own shit basically. So I'm very wise to fresh food. And a friend of mine over in Miami Shores, the Proper Sausage guy, who grew up, Freddie.
Freddie.
So Freddie basically opened my eyes to like heritage and like turkeys that have been the same fucking turkey gene that has been passed down for hundreds of years that you're
Freddie
going to
knows
get.
what's up.
Freddie knows his deal. And there's like a certain, and what blew me away was he invited me over to his house years ago in Miami Shores for a chef's afternoon dinner. So it was like the one guy that ran the one guy that ran the Boca Beach Resort, and a couple different chefs that were making just incredible amounts of food. Ooh. Some in the oven, some on grills, some in smokers, and it blew my mind. I didn't even know there was that many colored tomatoes, to be honest. I thought tomatoes were red. I didn't realize that there's all different kinds of tomatoes, man.
Just like carrots. Carrots are not orange.
People don't understand that though.
No, carrots are not orange.
They don't get it.
Carrots are 14 different colors.
It's amazing.
We made them orange. We did. Like human beings made them orange so we could have a consistent product. We made all the carrots orange.
Are you one of those guys that you get into the whole drug-induced food line kind of thing, mass production as opposed to farm to table kind of thing?
Yes and no. Like I work primarily with 4 different farms that are in South Florida.
Okay.
So there's some stuff that we can't help. Like you got to get onions. You have to get onions to make mirepoix. You have to get celery. But if I'm going to do like we did a celery Caesar salad last season. With
the flour that's on the top of the end of the stalk? Or what do you use?
We took actual celery that was from Bee Heaven Farms. And it's just, when you have that, you understand what it's supposed to taste like.
Got it.
Right? And then when you have the shit that's in the store and then you don't understand what it's supposed to, then it's like, well, this just tastes like water.
Right.
Well, that's because that's trash. When you have this, you're like, wow, why is this so delicious? Because this is what it's supposed to taste like. You know, so there's a little bit of that. I'm never going to take a commodity product and put it in a celery salad because it's not going to make any sense. But I'm going to take that beautiful celery from Bee Heaven and we're going to make a celery Caesar salad with smoked oyster Caesar and anchovy croutons and like all these kind of things.
Next level shit.
But a lot of people, especially in Miami, they'll be like, well, I want a tomato salad. I'm like, well, motherfucker, it's August. There are no tomatoes. I don't know what else to tell you. There's no tomatoes around. So I can't make you a fucking... I want a tomato on my burger. First of all, you're not going to get my burger and put a tomato on it. That's one. And 2, there are no tomatoes.
You know what blows my mind too is... I can't do tomatoes. I can't have to. Even if if you open a can of tomatoes and I smell it, I might vomit. I can't do Caesars, which you guys call. The fuck do you guys call Caesars now? Not V8, but like what the drink that you put like the fucking chicken wings and the pickles
Bloody Mary.
in. Bloody Marys, you guys call them. In Canada, we call them Caesars, and I can't do those. So I'm like very, very sensitive to tomatoes. But the minute I got to the United States. And I started having tomatoes. They have no flavor for the most part, the ones that you'll buy in the store. So I'm just like, I could fucking do these. These are no problem. I'll have a nice buffalo mozzarella salad with the drizzle of the glaze on top.
Balsamic reduction from Roland.
Yeah. No, I had a guy in St. Louis that would actually, here's another thing that was incredible. This guy, there's an Italian restaurant in St. Louis, Missouri, that he literally begged this family in Italy for 8 years to get their balsamic glaze, and they finally allowed him to purchase it and bring it over to the United States, and he would send me a case of that shit every year and a half, 2 years, and it's just, it's incredible.
See, but that's fine. If it's like good, but I'm so tired. I'm tired about so many things, but I'm so tired.
You seem like an ornery fucker, though. I'm not going to lie to you. I told Red, I was like, you could tell that you're an asshole, but like you're a good asshole. Though.
I like that.
Like, you're
That's
the
good.
asshole. You're the asshole that needs to be in today's society.
No one's ever made Mike look this happy on this podcast.
That's probably
because I think real recognizes real, and I think people would categorize me as an asshole, to be honest with you. But I'm not out to hurt your feelings. I'm just out to fucking tell you the way that it is, man. Like, not everybody gets a trophy. You know what I mean? And
not everyone gets a trophy.
If you suck, you suck. It is what it is, man.
You know,
pick up something else.
For so long, I'm fortunate that I've been in the game here for a long time, and I've seen the evolution of the entire city. and kind of like where we're going and all that. But at the same time, someone needs to keep people coming correct.
Yeah.
Like, we as a community, we can't like be okay with mediocrity, right? And so much of this goes back to when I played football because
Isn't it amazing how much life is a metaphor
so
for
much
football?
of life goes back to playing football.
Regardless of what you get into.
It doesn't matter.
No.
Doesn't matter.
It
Like
applies
there was
everywhere.
always that coach. Eye in the sky never lies. Motherfucker, shut up! God damn it! But it's the same thing with life, right?
It is.
It's like someone has to hold people accountable.
Totally.
When you hold people accountable, people don't like it.
No, of course not.
They just don't like it. They don't like to be called out. They don't like to be called fake. They don't like all that shit. And I'm very connected to my city. I love this city. I love this city very much. I love the progress that we've made as a community. But also, I have no problem calling out people who talk shit on my city and then want to come back. That's a whole other podcast.
Sounds like you got some deep-seated. You got some names on the back of that one.
I do, and they're all on Twitter. But but also, like, there's so many people doing great things, right?
Yep.
And then this is why we started this podcast. There's other reasons why we started, but the reason why I started this podcast was very rarely are people talking about the important people in the community that there should be a gigantic light shined on them, right?
I agree.
But instead, it's the big names and the shit that doesn't matter and the shit that's like there's no foundation to it.
Totally.
But it's a fancy name, so it gets clicks and there's headlines for it, and it's fucking trash usually. So that's kind of why we started doing this. So ornery is a good word. Factual is also a good word, but just holding people accountable is also a good way to put it.
I like because if you think about it, how many times has people gone to a restaurant that they've been hearing since forever and a day that is just the best thing since sliced fucking bread, and they show up and they eat and they're just like,
Trash.
yeah, it wasn't worth all the hype.
But
it happens all the time.
But it's also, listen, it also happens to me, right? People come here and they're just like, the music was too loud. I got that today. The music is bad and it's too loud. Well, fucking go somewhere else. I pick every song that we play here, and I
do a
play,
playlist?
Oh, 100%. And we play it at a volume.
That's a whole other rabbit hole.
That's a whole other rabbit hole. And we
Is
play
that
it,
for you to like walk around to keep your eye on shit, or is that like if you're grinding in the kitchen and you're back there grinding and doing your
No,
thing?
because conceptually, the restaurant as a whole, I wanted to carry the feeling like you're hanging out with me in my house. So the
What's your
music.
fucking place? Goddamn right, you should.
I know, but some people want, I don't know, they want violins and cellos and shit, which I like, but that's not what we're about here. So often we get all that. There was somebody on Yelp, right? Didn't you call the Yelp review that we haven't read yet that called me Exhibit and was angry at how I was treating my line cooks?
Oh yeah, exhibit because of your braids.
Because I had braids. I had cornrows in
You
that
did the
day.
rose?
Always. Once every 2 months.
No shit.
Yes,
Good
absolutely.
for you.
It's
You're
from-
keeping that thing real then. Golly, that's impressive.
You
It's
gotta-
from
you gotta
back
see
in
a
the
picture of
D-line days. Like, you know, like I was the only short
exhibit.
Cuban
They actually
white
called
guy.
you Exhibit?
They did call me
I'm
Exhibit
gonna
on
pull
the
up,
Yelp review.
I'm gonna pull up this review.
You
I'll
are?
let you know when I'm ready with it.
Okay, good. But again, we have people in the kitchen that are trying to learn how to cook.
Uh-huh.
There's only one way I know how to operate, which is to hold people accountable. It's the same thing as when I played ball. I had older people that held me accountable at all times. And then when I became that older person, I had to hold people accountable too. And they didn't do it by saying, listen, you should do a good job. They didn't do that. They didn't do it. They weren't like, listen, next time, could you make sure that you are in the proper gap?
Yeah, I'm not rubbing anybody's back. Yeah, it ain't gonna happen.
No, that's just not how it is. So that whole the football mentality definitely carried over to the kitchen.
Let me know when you want to hear.
No, I want to hear the review.
Right. So we may still do this, but we've been wanting to hire actors to read Ariette's 1-star Yelp reviews. Do
that.
dramatic readings of these reviews.
I also don't read our reviews.
But this is by far my favorite one.
I'm gonna hear it.
This is by Verkova G. And this was 6 months ago. So in the middle of COVID, but in reference to just before
When
COVID.
the shit was hitting the fan, yeah.
Okay.
Give me your 1-star review when there's a worldwide
No,
pandemic.
but
Thanks.
it was about an
Thanks for taking
experience she
time
had
out of your
before
day.
the pandemic.
Okay.
And this is why she waited all this time. My daughter set up my Yelp account on my new laptop. Now I am able to describe this place as horrendous. I do not enjoy dining while I hear someone humiliating the workers that were doing quite well. The owner should be embarrassed with their tail between their legs. This review is not from a recent visit due to COVID-19 stopping everything, so I cannot recall the date. I use a hearing device and paid some attention to what I thought I heard the kitchen staff say. The lunatic standing in front of the kitchen did poor in social skills and being a respectable employee. This not respectable employee, for those who can't see Mike raising his hand, is Mike. If I was in charge, he would be gone. My daughter referred to him as a rapper named Exhibit. I don't know what that means, though everyone seemed to laugh. Likely not something good. We work very hard for our money, so I cannot ever spend 1 cent here from the lack of respect I saw in that business. I almost even forgot I was going to do this. My loving daughter helped me remember why I was so adamant about setting up my new laptop. I do know that is a recipe for a disastrous future. Since the restaurant is about being unique with their plates, try adding respect.
Well, no.
For a long time, I tried to like this place. Many of my longtime friends have invited me. Each time, I regretfully wished I never stepped foot inside. The food might be good. The
Then how the
drinks...
fuck are you going to turn around and say
Hey,
that
let
you
him
regret
finish.
it?
Come on.
The food might be good. The drinks might be good. But as I learned back then when I was younger, a cake can have great icing and look oh so good. What good is great icing if the cake is garbage? I do not wish to be solicited to revisit this place again. 1 star.
Fuck that.
I would give them credit for actually putting lots of context before
Yeah, it was good.
in a 1-star review.
was
And
nice.
I can't disagree with them. I am a fucking savage sometimes.
Good. And I don't like the analogy of the cake. I don't like that. I don't like that at all because it seems like the cake was really fucking good along with the
cake
icing.
was good.
I think the cake
was
and the
good.
icing
drinks
was
were
good.
Things were good.
The plate that it was served on, I think the plate might have been
So, somebody just wrote "fuck you" in icing on top of the cake.
And I've calmed down a lot.
Were you like a savage Tasmanian devil?
No, I learned from a lot of savages.
Has people not seen Ramsay? Like,
Yeah,
Chef
but that
Ramsay?
guy's a fucking jerk off.
You don't like him?
Nah, he's a fucking jerk off. There's nothing realistic
How
about
about
the
that
shit that he
Netflix
does.
special that he's got going on? It's like top 100 of whatever. I used to
don't-
watch that shit all the time.
I don't watch Gordon Ramsay at all.
He
because
just salt and
he's a
peppers everything.
fucking-
Just salt and pepper and fucking.
No, but
that's
you
it.
shouldn't even add pepper to things.
Depends, right? And then the size of the
Pepper is
grain
a-
when you're
this is a
grinding
whole-
too.
This is a whole conversation. We don't have enough time in the podcast to talk about why I don't put pepper on things.
What about actual ají, red and green pepper?
Yeah, that's fine. What I'm talking about is like people are like, you need to salt and pepper everything. No, you don't need to salt and pepper everything. You just don't, because pepper changes the flavor of things.
Totally.
Salt enhances the flavor.
Yep.
But a lot of assholes that don't know what the fuck they're doing, they're just like, let's make a salt and pepper mix. No, bro. That's not how it works.
What about a truffle salt? Are you into truffles
Stop it.
or is truffles
Stop
over?
it. I liked you so much.
You're not a truffle guy either. You're not a truffle guy
I
either.
am. Fresh truffles are fine.
Again, back to the fresh ingredients.
Yeah,
farm
fresh
to table.
truffles are fine. But when you're like,
You're not into the Badia produced, $7.99 at Publix truffle salts.
No, I'm not. We make our own sazon for chugs. We make our own things.
Note to Badia, we will still take your money if you'd like to advertise on
If you'd
Banco
like
Podcast.
to advertise on
Regardless
Banco-
if you've been dragged
Banco
through the
Bu-
mud over the last couple
Yeah.
fucking days. Relax. It
No,
doesn't matter.
Badia's fine. They're fine. Even Goya's
Well,
fine.
sazon completa, like, isn't that like the staple for just about every Cuban cupboard in South Florida?
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that it's good.
I'm not saying that, but isn't
Right.
like every green top? You open anybody's cupboard in South Florida here, they gotta have a green top on something.
Yeah,
right?
which is factual.
Like picadillo,
Right.
staple, right? Sazon completa.
You got to put it in there.
What about do you ever use that provincial spice? La provinciale French spice. That's
I don't.
Never.
I don't.
What about Montreal steak spice?
I do, but not here. Like I
When
do,
you're at the
but
crib
not
throwing it on a burger or a piece of steak and you're good to
right
go.
for my vegetarian fiance.
Oh, she puts it on the veggies.
No, she doesn't. She doesn't. What I'm saying is, in certain settings, they're fine. But here, we'll make our own spice blends for things.
Are you a rub guy or are you
I'm a rub guy.
marinade guy?
I'm a rub guy. I'm a brine guy. I'm a
Oh, you like
smoker.
the brine? Okay, cool.
Yeah. Like our short rib, the 9-day process. it's
What do you advise? So, for instance, is this going to be edited prior to Thanksgiving?
This week.
Cool. So, say for instance, because again, I'm going back to my guy proper with his fucking turkeys, and he's a huge turkey guy. Instructed to do the brine thing, and I've never brined.
100%.
I've never brined
150%.
my turkey before.
He's absolutely factual.
Sit it in a bucket for a day. You're ready to rock and roll.
Depends how many pounds it is, but yeah, a day to
And
36
it's like
hours.
fresh herbs, kosher salt, the whole
Yeah,
thing.
you know, like just Google a brine.
Yep.
Find a brine that you like, the things that it sounds like shit that you like, and then you brine that turkey for a day and a half
Are you a stuffing in or out of the bird?
out. Because in it doesn't make any fucking sense.
Really?
Yeah, no sense. That's all like myth.
In the cavity. You don't.
yeah,
You don't
it's
pack it in
fucking.
there.
It's a fucking myth. Just put that shit in a pan and bake that shit.
Really?
Yeah.
How? My mom used to tell me all the time because I'm a big stuffing guy. I love my stuffing. And it's
Cornbread
like,
stuffing is my jam.
I've never had it.
Cornbread stuffing.
Do you have a
Cornbread
recipe
stuffing.
before I leave
I
here
can
tonight?
make it happen.
You
Pretty
got-
simply.
You put jalapenos in that thing too? Or?
No, I mean cornbread. The way I've done.
I was going to
cornbread-
be a total gringo and ask you about what the fuck is PanCon
podcast. Me?
podcast? And I was
Well,
gonna,
'cause-
I was going to be the asshole to go PanCon. You know what I mean?
PanCon.
You guys have been like
Panko.
fucking going,
We've gotten Panko.
Oh, we've
here.
gotten Panko and Pumpkin
You're
podcast,
lying.
and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Panko.
Nobody understands it's Pang.
Pan.
You know how the Cubans, that's how they pronounce my name, right? That's how I used to tell them to pronounce my name. Like, for instance, Bisa Abuela. Bisa used to be like, huh? ¿Cómo se llama? Huh? And I'm like, pan con té. Pan con té. Brett. See? Okay,
Yeah.
now I get it.
I
That's,
like
how, that's
that.
how she figured it out. Pan
That's
con
good.
té.
That's pretty
Pang,
good.
bread.
Yeah.
Because everybody, Spanish or English, whatever, you know what fucking pang is.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Pan con té.
simple.
That's
I
good.
simplified it for her. You know what I mean?
Well, the name stands for pan con lechon, but we replaced the lechon with podcast.
so it's a podcast sandwich.
So
I gotta-
what,
it
what
was-
got you into the fucking cook? Was it like grandma? Was it mom?
Yeah,
Or like,
so
what was
my-
your deal?
So the restaurant is actually named after a restaurant my grandparents worked at in Pinar del Rio in Cuba.
Oh, so they're fobs then. Then they're fresh off the boat then from Cuba.
Oh yeah, and the pictures that are in there of like there's actually ones of my grandfather in his bakery in
That's
Cuba.
badass. That's cool. What part of Pinar del Rio? What part? You know?
Like he says, Pinar Mimo. That's what he says. That's
Why
what
does nobody from Cuba ever divulge the exact kind of spot where they're at?
because
Unless
they're
talking
still
about other
worried. They're
Cubans.
still worried
They're
about.
worried that
yeah,
the fucking
they're still worried.
bro.
It's been 60 years. They're still
the
concerned.
ratoncitos that are in the little.
Yeah, the snitches.
I'm telling you,
snitches
man.
need to get stitches. That's how it
Yes.
works. Yeah.
But I find that like especially if you go to like BT's or if you go to like
Bobby's Tacos. Bobby's
if you
Tacos.
go to
Everyone.
Bravo Tango or if you go
Bravo
to,
Tango.
like,
Bobby's Tacos. Thank
What's,
you.
what's the really badass one up north?
Rachel's?
the Miami Gardens. No, the Miami Gardens.
Tootsie's?
One. Yeah, Toots.
Nah,
You always-
Tootsie's
hey,
sucks.
Where you from?
Scarlett's is the move.
No, cool. See, I know, but what part? No, la oh, okay. I'm not even gonna ask anymore.
Yeah.
You're never gonna tell me because you're embarrassed and you don't want your family to find out. I get it. I understand. You don't
So
need to tell that story.
my grandparents, they're the cooks because my mom, which mom I love you dearly and you never listen to this, but just in case, you're a wonderful human being. Can't cook.
Justin K.
She can't cook. My aunt can't cook. My sister, she
That's
definitely can't
ironic.
cook.
That's like my house.
And then I watched them do all these like marvelous things, and I was like, I want to fucking learn how to do this stuff. And then I went to college, which I was a dreadful college student, just dreadful.
Didn't work out.
No, it didn't. A lot of how you talked about trying to get the master's part, that was all 4 years for me.
Oh, that was the undergrad situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I started working in a restaurant when I was, 19, 18 years old. A chain restaurant. And I was like, this is so much fun. You just drink all the time, right?
That is a lifestyle that people don't understand either.
Broads everywhere.
Yeah.
This is so much fun. We
Yeah.
just drink till late hours of the time, and then we have to show up and practice at 10 a.m. That's all that I cared about. And then I was like, I want to make this a career because this is going to be fun forever. Little did I know, that's not how it works out. This, then you become like very obsessed with doing shit very well, and then the whole football player mentality takes over. You want to be one of the best. You want to be.
And I didn't want to turn this into like me interviewing you, but I'm.
I know, but this is good. I like this.
I'm
This is
super
good.
intrigued in because I'm a huge, like I told you before. I fucking love food. I love cooking. I'm a junkie. I'm like literally at my house. I make every meal. I make breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and I do it from multiple different orders. I feel like my house is a diner. Between La Suegra, between Tia, Madrina coming over and visiting, people like this, people like that.
How
and
big
I'm-
is your kitchen, though?
It's good.
All right,
that's
that's
a
good.
big kitchen.
It
yeah.
needs
I
to
got
be
the
a
big
big-
old 48 Viking, with all kinds
Oh
of shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that is a nice fucking.
Yeah,
That's a nice
I got
rig.
that thing going on. And I'm a marinator too. I'm a rub guy as well. I make my own rubs too.
Are you a smoking guy?
I've never smoked ever in my life.
Oh really? Yeah, I think smoking is
Meat, that is.
It's a move. Yeah. Smoking meats
Pole,
are like that's our.
I like
short,
girls.
Our short rib is, it's. I don't like short rib, so I wanted to do a dish that I felt
Is
like
it braised or is it?
it's a combo of both, of being smoked and being braised.
Got it.
So I wanted to do a dish that was something that I could like hang my hat on, because I fucking hate short rib. 'Cause it's always the same shit, right? Braised short rib, some mushy shit underneath it, some big sauce on top.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's a fucking
Some
same,
puree and then you put some veg
yeah,
on
and
it.
it's
Yeah.
fucking a bunch of the same shit
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
So like, how can we make that different? We made that different, and it's a 9-day process. That's the only thing.
People
But-
don't understand how labor intensive cooking is and how much goes into it. And then all of a sudden they sit there and burp and fart and it's over within 15, 20 minutes.
I
It's
know,
unbelievable.
but I think it's changed. I think
there's a high, and I think now more than ever because of the appreciation of being at home and cooking at home and not just getting out. Sucks obviously for the restaurant industry, but
Right.
I think people are learning the value of being able to prepare something at home. To be
But
honest with
I
you.
also think as much as I cannot stand food television, it's given people kind of like an insight of like, wow, this shit is actually pretty fucking tough. Like, this shit's not easy. It's kind of like those big time fans of football, like when they watch NFL Network and you have those like dorky NFL shows that really break it down for them. It's like, well, this is cover 3. I'm like, what the fuck is cover 3? Like,
Yeah, they got to dumb it down.
it's like, oh, they did a stunt on this play, and
stunt was that again?
then they dropped a D lineman back into coverage. You're like, what does that mean? So it just opens their eyes to like so much more.
So in your relationship with your girl, did she cook at all, or are you just like looked upon to make sure that you're doing?
No,
everything?
she cooks. Yeah,
She cooks. Well, because the only reason why I'm asking is because my wife decided that the other day that she was going to cook. She was going to have dinner, and that's because I basically said I'm fucking tired. I've made 435 meals so far this week, and I'm not making another one. I think it was Saturday night. So she goes, I'm gonna cook, and I said, fuck, okay. I'm like, fuck, it's sweet. And then I proceeded to watch her go in the fridge and look to find out if there was any leftovers that I already made throughout
this is
the
good.
week. And needless to say, there was nothing. She wanted to grab the Alfredo that I made for the kids. And every moron knows that you can't have Alfredo the next day because of the sauce, the way that it fucking clumps up and that whole thing. So she's like trying to pull the Alfredo. I was like, it's not going to work out. It's not going to happen. She's like, what do you mean? I said, the Alfredo's not going to be good. Like, if you want to give the pasta, to the kids or something like that. She's like, you could do that? I said, yeah, I think you can. And then I said, so you're cooking? And she goes, yeah. I said, okay. And I waited, had a couple more drinks. And then out came the block of cheddar cheese, and then fucking out comes the crackers. And she knows I like charcuterie. And
This is nice charcuterie
Yeah,
right here.
but just minus the meat and anything eclectic and accoutrement. There's nothing. It was just
No jam?
I thought she was gonna hit the fucking mustard up. And I have like
No jam?
no, I have everything in the fridge on the door, but I don't. Think
I'm
she,
so
She doesn't
intrigued
know.
by
She
your
doesn't
kitchen.
know.
I'm intrigued.
She doesn't know. Like she doesn't know the different mustards. She doesn't know the seeds. She doesn't know the jellies. She doesn't know the pastes. She doesn't know.
She's not a cook.
Brother, I even had an assortment of different salamis,
Ooh.
peppered and everything in the drawer, and it was just no fucking lie to you, a block of cheese and crackers, like not even unraveling, just and like spreading them out, making them look nice. It was there's the sleeve of crackers,
Ritz crackers.
and you could open your own fucking block of cheddar.
Were they
by the way.
Ritz crackers
Yes,
at least?
they were.
Oh.
Yes, they
I'm
were.
I'm not against Ritz crackers.
Vegetable flavor ones, which is a little bit better. So.
Interesting.
Yeah, but yeah, so that's what I'm dealing with. Cuban, by the way.
But
Skip the
but
generation, obviously.
I feel like there's so many people of my generation that don't know how to cook our food at all. Like zero
I
understanding.
saw you had the arroz imperial.
Oh, we do, but it's
I
it's
saw
my
that
version.
at the top of the
It's
menu,
my
and I was just
version
like,
of it, though.
I wanted to get it. And I was just
No,
like,
but
I don't know if I can handle that.
Just
right
so you understand, it's my version of arroz, which it's like very not what people would expect. So many people have been like, well, this isn't, like, yeah, because I'm not slapping fucking mayonnaise and fucking cheese on top of something
Throwing a
and
couple
baking it.
slices of cheese on the top.
Right, that's
melting
not
it down.
happening here. Like we do an espuma, and it's like a rice. And
You
a
do
thing.
espumita on it as well.
Well, we do an espuma here. It's like manchego, red pepper espuma on top of black rice, squid ink rice with.
Oh, you do the squid ink in it then?
Yeah, so it's black rice with squid ink or squid inside of it, and then one large prawn on top, and then it's like a small salad of piquillo peppers with chorizo on top of that. So it's like a whole. It's like a thing.
Incredible, bro.
And before that, before that, it was I think it was just like a shellfish. So it was like different types of shellfish.
Oh, cool. Almost like a paella kind of thing.
And then it was Parmesan espuma on top with one scallop that was seared on top of that. See,
The
it's
squid ink sets it off, though, right?
I
The
don't
whole
know.
deal that it comes on the plate black.
Yeah,
that's got to be totally different.
I like that. That's why I put the squid ink in there. But the idea of this restaurant in particular, of R3, is that we want to change the dynamic of what people consider Cuban food to be. So it's like there's an evolution to everything.
Yep.
So we want the food to evolve, just like we've evolved. Like
Totally.
I know that my grandparents would never eat raw fish, right? Like they don't.
They don't
it's
do
just,
the ceviche thing.
It's just not a thing for them, right? So people my age, like they evolve with that. Like they like ceviche, they like sushi, they like things like that. So it's part of the evolution. You know, like I'm a 35-year-old Cuban-American, just like so many people that are in my age range. They like different things: venison, foie gras with plantain, so on and so forth. So you can't just stay locked in the past. You have to want to grow.
Totally.
You know, so that's part of what we've done here, and it's worked out. You know, charcuterie is like the best way I can explain it to Cubans is like, you know, there's crackers, just like you did. There's crackers and there's cheese. This is the same thing.
Yeah.
This is the same thing.
Just
but
on steroids.
yeah, pretty much.
Have you ever had? Have you ever been down to the Keys? Have you ever gone to what's right next to the Morada Bay Cafe there? The one that they filmed the Bloodline show on. Pierce.
No, I haven't.
I just had a charcuterie board down there, and it was by far the biggest charcuterie board I've ever had in my life.
Oh yeah.
It had lilies on it. It had fucking orchids. It had
Oh, no.
6, 7 different cheeses on it. It had onion bulbs. It had multiple different styles of pickled vegetables. It was humongous. It was an entree.
Why
And I-
the orchids? You lose me there.
You're looking at the ocean.
I know,
It's
I
like
guess.
the hot pink kind of colors, I
Yeah,
guess. I don't know. I think, the bocambillas, all that other stuff. So, but it was an impressive platter. It was an impressive platter. But I never got hooked on those until, I don't know where I was at that I had my first charcuterie board. It was just, it blew me out of the water. I sat, holy smokes. So we all know about this whole South Florida, you know, you spend more money on your kid's birthday than you do on the wedding kind of
Doesn't
party
make any
situation.
sense, but yes.
I've never seen a display of cheeses and meats in my life like I saw at this one birthday party that I attended.
See you later, chef. Emma, I think I'm good for one more round. I don't know about these guys.
One more, and then I think, yeah. One more, and then another one. Yeah, one more.
And then Bobby's Tacos
yeah,
for everyone.
And then BTs, we're going for a nightcap. And then, for real, like, literally, it was a table. It was 2 of these tables,
Thanks, Jeff.
which, to be a little bit more descriptive for everybody out there that's in the audio realm, 2.5 by 4 or 5. And there was 2 of these tables side by side with mountains of truffle cheeses,
Oh, truffle
manchegos, Havardis, you name, like there was all different kinds of cheeses. You know how much this whole, and I found out how much it cost to go ahead and put this whole like little board thingy / you know, fucking Disney World of charcuterie.
$500. No? More?
$6,200.
What? Oh, somebody did it for them.
Yes.
Oh, okay, all right. Now it makes sense.
It was,
now the context
It
gives
was like
sense.
it was leveled too. Like it was. Oh my god! It was one of the most incredible looking things I've ever seen in my life. My wife was like, "Can you fucking leave it alone? Like we got to go home. We got to go home."
no.
And I said,
Why?
"No, I'm gonna have a heart attack here. I think I'm gonna just fucking just eat and then have straight up heart attack right now."
Let's talk about things people actually want to listen about.
I know. I'm sorry. We're getting very self. I'm getting selfish. I've kind of detoured this conversation.
When you
I
went to the
apologize.
NFL,
Yeah.
you played for
Smooth transition.
You're such a pro.
I've been doing this shit for 60 plus episodes. I am good at this.
Yeah, you're phenomenal. Smooth transition.
When you went to the NFL, what was the biggest change and the thing that you did not expect? That
The politics.
Oh man, but isn't that everything though?
Yes, but
Isn't there politics in fucking everything though?
Yeah, but until you're hit with it, I guess until it affects you, you don't see it. Just like everything in life. But yeah, the fact that I was undrafted and I was displaying my abilities, which were a lot better than some of the others that I was around. Yet the others, because of either justified draft picks, because coaches or GMs trying to make sure that they
Keep their
stay
job.
employed,
Yeah.
or previous relationships or back scratching that goes on, it became evident to me that the NFL, it's not all about putting the best 11 on the football field. It's about who's getting paid more, why they need to justify that paycheck. Why isn't the owner, for instance, who might not know anything about football, why is he coming down and saying, why isn't the guy that we just drafted and paid millions of dollars for, why isn't he on the football field? And regardless of how good they are or not, if they're getting paid, they're on the field. And I couldn't wrap my mind around that. And then also losing and being okay with it. Coming from Miami, never losing, and then going to the NFL and then losing a few games and flying home and seeing that there's still a party on the airplane, which blew my fucking mind. Right. I'm sitting in the corner sucking my thumb. I might not even have stepped on the field, but we lost as a team. And I wasn't able to deal with loss. And other guys are fucking yucking it up.
Well, when
jokes.
you played in Canada, the teams that you played on, were they winners?
My high school team, yeah. We actually won the national championship in high school my senior year, and then my junior year, and then my senior year, I elected to play in a men's league that was like a semi-pro league instead of playing my senior year of high school. So
you weren't used to losing.
No.
Yeah, and then you went to UM, and those were the years that we didn't lose.
True.
Yeah.
So I showed up after a 5-6 season, which was Joaquin's first year. I showed up in the January of that season, and that's when we just started winning, I lost my first and my last game at Miami.
We got robbed your last game.
Yep.
We got robbed.
Yeah.
For all the listeners out there in Ohio, you robbed us.
Yeah, you go fuck yourself too. And then on top of that, I literally, when I unpacked boxes of like UM shit and memorabilia and stuff, the helmet that I wore for that game, I still had the confetti in it from when we won the national championship.
Oh, crazy!
And I still had confetti like between the pads of the helmet, inside the helmet, from when we won. And I took my helmet off, and they gave me the trophy, and I was holding the trophy in the middle of the field, and they had to put everybody back on the sideline, and they weren't able to remove the U on the national championship trophy. So what they had to do is they had to put the O on top of the U, which was fucking heartbreaking. That was a lot of people don't know that story either about putting the U on top of putting the O on top of the U.
Yeah, because we were robbed.
To remove it.
Because we should have won.
Yeah.
So
and we played the worst we've ever played that year too. That was a really bad game on our end, and they obviously played the best that they played that season. So
yeah, but I mean that's the one thing I do love about football is that a bad team can beat a good team on any given
Sunday, man.
On any given
There's
Sunday.
a reason why Pacino made a movie about it.
I know, that's such a good movie, by the way.
I liked it too, yeah.
Yeah. Life is about inches. I used to listen to that.
Unbelievable speech, isn't it?
I used to listen to that speech before every game in college.
I say that every time I take my gear off and I look at my wife. It's an unbelievable. It's a pep talk for every fucking avenue of life. It really is. It really is a pep talk. You know? It's about the 1 inch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Always. We could all use another inch or two.
When did you play with Richie Incognito?
I
gotta say,
Richie played together in St. Louis from like 07, 6, 7, 8.
Who was the quarterback?
Bulger.
Oh.
I got there and then Steven Jackson and then Bulger ended up going to the Pro Bowl. You want to hear a funny story? That year Bulger signed I helped get Bulger a $64 million deal, and he handed out Best Buy gift certificates for $300.
Nice.
So I fucking ninja started across the locker room and zinged it right off of him. I said, and then on top of that,
Bulger.
I fucked his house up too, really, really bad. So he had a party. And he bought like the daughter of Anheuser-Busch.
That's why no one invites O-linemen anywhere.
No, we're fucking savages. And he, especially the retarded ones from the University of Miami, we got problems with ourselves. So Bulger ends up developing 2 greens and like par 3s on his backyard in St. Louis, Missouri. He ended up buying his house.
He built golf
Yes.
situation in his
Well,
backyard.
He bought Anheuser-Busch's daughter's house back in the day. It was like a local grocery store guy and Anheuser-Busch's daughter's castle that they
was
had.
he any good?
Mark was good, but he was a little bit. Well, he got the shit kicked out of him by us. He had broken ribs. Every Monday morning, we would be in like the sauna or the steam rooms, and he was black and blue. I asked him if he was iron deficient because he was so bruised up. Like he was, bro, he was getting clipped. So he had a party the one night, and we all went there, and I stole his like Gator ATV kind of thing, and I'm drunk as a skunk, driving all over the goddamn place, and he just had these greens done, and I'm driving all over brand new greens, and his plumbing system, the PVC pipes are still showing.
This is so good.
I tore his fucking yard apart bad, to the point where we came in the next week, and he comes up to me and he like taps me on the shoulder. He's like, "Hey man, what the fuck happened to my backyard at the party?" And I was just like, "What are you talking about?" And he goes, "Dude, there's like $23,000 in damage." And I said, "What? What are you talking about, man?" He goes, "Somebody fucking drove all over my backyard." And I was just like, "Oh, you got to get Donnie Jones, man. I saw him on your Gator. I think he was our punter at the time, and I used to fuck with Donnie all the time. He punted for the Dolphins too, and I used to fuck with Donnie all the time. And Donnie, I saw him on the Gator, but I clearly got, belligerent and drunk.
No.
And, yeah, it happens once in a while with me. I'm skeptical about that, but it happens. And then Bulger brought in the fucking surveillance video.
No, he didn't.
And played it in the offensive line.
Should have
in
given
the
him back the
offensive-
$300 Best Buy gift certificate.
Well, he came in the next day after he reviewed the footage, and he goes, "I know it was you, you motherfucker." And I was just like, "What happened?" And he goes, "Dude, I see you. You have your arm out the thing, and you're rolling around all over my yard, destroying my whole yard." And it was like all wet and moist because they're still trying to grow the grass on it. And he goes, "Dude, that cost me like $23,000 and to have it all repaired." And I was just like, "Well, fuck, I don't know what to tell you, man. I'm really sorry." And he goes, "No, it was funny. It was really,
Well,
really
at least
funny.
he took it like
This is the guy that like he literally, if you live up north, you have a basement, so you could have those lookout windows where half of it is underground, half of it's above ground. He had the zoo aquarium guy come out and build aquariums in all of those windows. So it was
Extra.
next level shit.
Very extra.
Yeah, made a lot of money, that guy. A lot of money.
I have to tell you that I love Richie Incognito, and I don't
too.
care what happened here. I don't even.
He got crucified. He was the
Of
lamb.
listen,
He was
that,
the lamb.
That year, the Dolphins were such a fucking train wreck.
Yeah.
They were just looking for someone to pin it on, and Richie was that guy. And then that one guy was just very sensitive.
Jonathan Martin. The one that
Jonathan-
will like try to kill a bunch of people later on too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was just very sensitive, and then it was all blamed on Richie. Like, listen, he seems like a lot. There's
Richie?
yeah.
Yeah, he is.
He seems like a lot, and that's totally fine. But man, how many times have you played on teams that there's a couple of guys that are like, man, you guys are fucking nuts.
There's no other human being, and I've played with a lot, that I would bring into a foxhole with me and just say, "This is my animal."
That's who you want playing right guard, though.
That's the guy. He literally is the guy that you just point and let him go. Like, and he would fight everybody. He was talking shit. I'll never forget. So the first time I got to play against Sap, it was obviously really cool for me, really rewarding for me. And he's literally trying to fucking kill Sap. Like, kill him.
This is Warren Sapp?
Yeah, Warren Sapp.
Warren Sapp?
And then, Sapp is yelling at me, "Hey, Rom, check your boy. And Richie's like, throwing the N-word out. It's just like, and I'm like, oh, here we go. And mind you, like, we got like Orlando Pace as my left tackle, legend in the game. We got a lot of dudes on that football. Like, who was the other guy that like he was just going off on? We were playing against the Bucks. Was it Brooks? It might even have been fucking Brooks.
Derek Brooks,
Yes.
number 55 for the
And he-
Tampa Bay
You
Buccaneers.
better believe it. And he was laying in fucking. Richie wants to fucking kill everyone, and he's still killing people. Like, he's still making Pro Bowls, and he's still making $8 million a year, and he's a lunatic. But there's nobody else I would rather have. Perfect example. We're walking into a bar in St. Louis. The bar, the bouncer at the front door. Richie knows him because he's kicked Richie out of a couple different clubs in St. Louis before. And we're walking by, and Richie's like, "What's up, fucking loser?" And I'm like, "Oh, here we go. It's already starting." And then the guy goes, "Incognito." And then all of a sudden, Richie grabs a bottle of ketchup, glass ketchup bottle, and chucks it at the dude's head. And I'm just like, we're going to jail. We're going to jail. All of a sudden, the police get called. Richie's hiding in the back seat of my car, and I'm just like, oh, we're going to die. We're going to die. Richie, let's go. We got to go. And like literally, it was like he was my right guard. I was his somewhat babysitter, and we got into the whole Pat Miletich MMA thing together. I later on did it with like Randy Couture and stuff like that. So I was into all that shit. And then Richie was just the animal that would go to Vegas, win money, blow money, win money, blow money. And that was just, he lives life to the fullest. There's nobody out there that does it like
Good
him.
for him.
He's in, because literally Richie could probably die tomorrow. The way that he fucking goes, he probably could. There's no doubt about it. How do you get labeled like the NFL Man of the Year 1 year for the Miami Dolphins and turn around and have that scandal happen the very following year? You know what I
That
mean?
scandal was just all.
And imagine it's like his boy is. I'll never forget. Pouncey was calling me. Pouncey was trying to take Romberg, man.
Pouncey is also a very intense human being.
Yeah, he's.
Both of them.
Yeah, well, when your boy, they're making Netflix specials about your cereal killed butter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It depends. So funny story is when they suspended Richie.
That's about Aaron Hernandez.
Yeah. For those of you that don't
Also
know.
a Florida Gator.
Yeah. For those people that don't know, when Richie was suspended, he obviously still kept the relationship with all the offensive linemen. So what they ended up doing, this is cool, food for thought for the podcast. I don't think people know this either. They elected Richie with all of the fine money for Richie to arrange the offensive line trip. Because at the end of the year, all of the fines that you guys accumulate, aside from the NFL distributed fines, all of the in-house, in-room fines that you get for farting or tapping a guy on the ass.
You get fined for farting?
Depends. If it stinks really bad, the big stank fine, that's like $500. If you're
You
making
you get fined $500 for throwing down.
for a fart that makes people like gag a little bit, yeah, you're getting
Wow.
$500. If you disrupt a meeting for a fart, that's $500.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
This is fucking life changing.
Yeah, it's pretty intense.
I'm gonna implement that here.
Yeah, some of the fines are pretty funny. You make them up, actually. You actually have a makeup list, and you put it right at the front door as your offensive line has their meeting room. And guys are getting fined left and right. And at the end of the year, you put together a trip or an event or whatever it was. And Richie was still donned with the task of planning the guys' trip, the offensive line trip. And instead of having a private plane, Richie was so off of his rocker, not on his meds. Instead of getting a private plane, which would have cost him whatever to go to either Costa Rica or DR, wherever they went, I can't remember what it was. Richie gets a 737. Rents a fucking whole 737 plane for 9 guys. That's when Pouncey's like, Romberg, you gotta do something, man. You gotta like fucking reel them in, figure it out, whatever it is. And you can imagine the shenanigans at the venue that went down, let alone the flight over there.
How much does it cost to rent a 747?
Had to be 75, 80 grand easily, one way.
That's incredible.
One way, no doubt. Because a private, it's going to cost you what, about $7 grand an hour, and to go to either Costa or the DR or something like that could have been like a 30 grand.
So the whole plane just for you guys?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He's out there, man.
So how many years did you play in the league?
9.
9. How'd that feel?
By the time I was over with it, I was over with it. I was done. I was going to do one more. I was going to go play for Tennessee, and then because their starting center tore his tricep, I was going to go do one more year over
What
at
year was
Tennessee
that?
to get 10. That would have been 2013, I think. And then I didn't, because the year before I was like, fuck it, I didn't want to play again the year before, 2012, and then I played. And it was fun. It was great. I kind of ended it the way I wanted to end it. And
Who'd you play with your last year?
Atlanta.
Oh, yeah.
I went back to Atlanta. And then yeah, that I was going to go for 10. And then ironically, that spring, I had like that Widowmaker heart attack thing where, I should have fucking died kind of thing. So, you live and you learn.
Yeah, you live and you learn.
Yeah.
Who was the quarterback in Atlanta?
Matt Ryan.
Oh, he was?
Yeah. I had Matty. And then that was the year that Kaepernick beat us. We were winning. Side note, sad situation. Very similar to what happened with New England in the Super Bowl a couple of years ago when Atlanta was ahead of Tom Brady and the Patriots.
28-3 thing?
We were up by 21 or 19 at halftime against the 49ers, and Kaepernick came out and fucking lit the
That's
world
when
on fire.
Kaepernick lost the Super Bowl.
Yep. They played us the week before or 2 weeks before for the Super Bowl, and we thought we were going to the Super Bowl that year as well. And Kaepernick came out and had his best game he's ever played in his NFL career, and came back and beat us, and that was it.
Was that Kaepernick's last year?
Yep.
It was.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, no, because Kiko almost decapitated him down here, right? Kiko decapitated him here.
Kiko Alonso?
Yeah.
Where's that guy playing now?
Is he still in Buffalo or no?
No, I don't think he's still in Buffalo. Buffalo's actually good now, so I don't think that
that's a good
he's
point.
probably starting on that team.
You want to hear stories about Kiko? Oh,
Kiko Alonso?
Oh,
he's actually Cuban. I want to hear
he
all
is.
the stories
He-
about him.
People think he's Puerto Rican because he grew up in PR, but no, he's Cuban. He's Cuban, man. Mhm. Bro, there's a couple tools missing from that shit. But
From Kiko?
but he's a great Kiko.
You
don't
can tell because he's kind of like that white guy linebacker that just throws his body at everything.
He's a fucking animal. Like
We checked with the research department, and Kiko's with the 49ers right now.
Is he?
Is
well,
he
that's
out in
because
San
there's
Fran?
no one that is still on that team.
I know.
The 49ers have been just
How
decimated.
bad is that fall from grace right there?
Oh, man, it's
that
crazy.
defense was unreal.
Unreal. When you stopped playing, when did you start doing radio? How long until you
Like
started?
15 or 16, I think.
How was that? Actual,
Well, when
you were
I
on 790?
yeah, they called me to go in there and do a couple different things once in a while, and then there was a good positive reaction for me doing it.
I remember. I used to listen.
And yeah, so it was like me, Joy Taylor, and Zaz, and
Jonathan
me
Zaslow.
yeah.
I hear he's a jerk.
Well, he's typical radio guy,
There
you
you
know.
go.
He's typical radio guy.
all I
They
need
they
to
kind
know.
of like, and this is what I never understood about radio is like egos, like the egos that radio guys tend to have in the industry.
What
where,
for?
That's my fucking question.
I don't get it.
Like you literally are talking on a radio. I don't know what the big fucking deal is, but yeah, but you know he's a lifer. Like Zaslow's been around forever and a day. now.
Forever.
Like started from the bottom, now we're here kind of guy. So producing like Stugatz and Levitard way back in the day.
Joy
when it
is
was
like, she's on like a show now.
yeah, she's with Colin
right.
Coward. She was with the undisputed guy there, with Skip and Shannon.
Yeah.
She was the median between those two.
God, Skip and Shannon.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine a more blowhard situation.
Oh,
than
God.
Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp.
The ironic, obviously they're catering to television, and
Of course.
they become caricatures. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But
It's like
Shannon's
the Mike
always
and Mike. Like Mike and Mike used to be.
yeah, the Golick, and then
Mike Greenberg and Mike Golick.
Yeah. I'm not gonna
I'll log it.
I'm not gonna bash any radio guys or anything like that because fuck, I really don't care, to be honest with you. I've never really been fully engulfed in media. I honest to God mock the jock sniffing fucking media guys, like literally that have built their livelihood on just trying to interpret body language or eye contacts or like what they thought they meant when they said something. I hate that shit because it's never right. It never is fucking right ever. Like
It's the overanalyzing of everything.
and it's usually coming from guys that have never been in a locker room too. You know what I mean?
Never.
That's the problem. It's like, dude, have you even been in front of anybody that has either shot that last shot or gone for that last diving touchdown? No, you haven't. But you're telling me you're going to sit here and tell me what they thought was going on in their mind? No, man, come on, bro. It ain't happening. So I'm not one to be the number one analytic guy. I'm not going to be the guy that's going to give you. I'm not a statistician by any means, and I'm not going to be your percentage guy. I'm going to be the guy that's going to tell you, like, you're either a fucking degenerate, you suck, you're good, you should have done this, you should have done that, and that'd have been it. Like
You
never
are
gonna-
an O lineman.
I am.
Yeah, that's
100%,
fine.
100%. An overachieving offensive lineman. Yeah, 100%. So
I enjoy sports media,
uh-huh.
but even the fact that I played at a very lower tier college level.
But you
like,
played though.
When I hear them say things, I'm just like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. Like that, how they analyze games and it's just like that doesn't make any fucking sense at all. Like you're gonna overanalyze a guy because he had a bad game. Like bad games happen.
They don't get it. And
They
then
just-
that's why I actually got into like analyst work too. That's why I started doing Conference USA college football analyst work for like 3 years. Was number one because I could probably translate a lot of what was going on the field, and then it was ironic every single time my play-by-play guy, because I would do the color obviously, we would go into rooms and sit with the head coaches and the coordinators prior to games, and we would do their interviews prior to get stories, and they were so reserved and calm and giving you coach speak every single question that play-by-play was asking. But then when it came to me, oh, fuck Romberg. And then, like, let's go have beers later. Like, I was going to have more beers with head coaches.
Right.
And partying and eating and drinking and talking shit with more head coaches in college football than, hell, any fucking play-by-play guy.
Well, because they
probably.
trusted you.
Exactly.
It's all like
that level of brotherhood that
yeah,
that
like
goes
you
on.
know, like you get it.
Of
Like
course.
you understand. Like
Yeah.
you played. Like,
And
you
they would
understand.
tell me, we would leave the room and they're like, dude, he didn't even open up until you asked him one question about something. And it's just like, they love, obviously, and I didn't understand that, like the transparency. That's what everybody wants to see is the transparency. And that's one thing that people don't understand that they'll never, ever get when dealing with professional athletes is like, they don't understand that they're just fucking guys that
Yeah.
are really good at doing something, but you're putting them up on a pedestal. And you're like, you're inflating that hot air balloon.
But not even just guys. Like a lot of these people are kids. 21,
fuck,
22
yeah.
years old, 23 years old. Like
yeah.
I think about the shit that I was doing when I was 23 years old. Like, I mean, fuck, man. It's a lot of times we're overanalyzing.
And
these
especially
kids.
nowadays, it's getting worse and worse and
Well,
worse.
social media makes it all like, pro football focus.
Oh, the star ratings,
Ratings
and,
and so on.
parents. Why isn't my kid? Yeah.
Oh man, today I was just like all like into the Dolphins Twitterverse deep, and it's all talking about Raekwon Davis. It's all about Raekwon Davis, right? The kid's a mammoth of a human being.
Yeah.
He's a fucking
Yeah,
beast.
he's really good.
If the kid puts it together, good. But then you have a bunch of fuck faces. Like you can always tell in the comments of the people who have never played the game, right? Well, why doesn't he just do it? Like, motherfucker, have you ever been in that situation? You never understand until you're there.
Not only that, but I don't think people don't understand the lack of drive. Like,
Yeah.
I've played with guys that have probably and could have been world beaters, just physically on paper, Adonises, but they really don't give two shits about their craft. They don't
Right.
care. They don't have the passion or the work ethic to make themselves that elite type of player.
Right.
And they don't understand that, okay, well, why does Hassan Whiteside, why is he fucking the dog for the Miami Heat back here 2 years ago? Well, you just paid him $100 and something million. Like, why the fuck would he not guaranteed money? Like,
Right.
why would he not? He's never been the guy that's been the overachiever. He's never been the Jimmy Butler 3 a.m. workout guy ever in his life. So all of a sudden you're telling me you're going to pull a guy out of the Y and he just has some fucking reoccurring dream that now he's like the next best. No, man. Tiger can't change his stripes, man. It is what it is. You might have the rare oddity, and that's why you have the Peyton Mannings, Tom Brady's, the guys that show up with briefcases that make it their livelihood,
Yeah.
that sacrifice everything in their life for
Zach Thomas.
greatness. Zach used to tell me, Zach would tell me that he literally was not allowed to sit down on the sideline because he would fall asleep on the bench because his fucking eggs were so scrambled. They would not allow him to sit on the bench because
That's
he would
crazy.
pass out because he's had 950 million concussions.
Yeah.
That's how bad his eggs were scrambled.
That's
It's
Fucked up.
just it's really, really bad. And Zach came from money too. So imagine how many kids nowadays that come from so much fucking money. Like, don't even get me started on the Tate Martell kid because I'm gonna fucking lose my shit on him. And then
Tate Martell.
And then you got Johnny Manziel too.
Oh, I hated that kid. I hate Johnny Manziel as equally as I hate Baker Mayfield.
Johnny Manziel showed up at a dinner that I was at in Dallas. It was so Tony Romo. This is after they just demoted Tony for Dak. Tony, Zeke.
Tony's doing just fine calling
Yeah,
games.
Tony's okay.
He's doing just
What
fine.
did they just give him? Like
A lot of money.
9
They
or
gave
10
him a lot of
million
money.
or something
They
like
gave
that?
him a lot.
A year?
More money than he was making as a quarterback.
What if this fucking dude's a hey Corona? No, just brutal, bro. Oh. And then like even Strahan's working like a motherfucker though. But dude, Strahan
but
is
he
making
worked
like
when he
30 or
played,
40
too.
million a year now. Like
Yeah.
Strahan's making stupid dough. Way more money than he ever made playing.
It's like why would you go to coaching after making that kind of money doing TV?
Well, that's the thing. Like when they asked Tony if he was interested, like Greg Olson, like why? Greg, why did you go back to Seattle Seahawks? Like, why? Like, why are you playing ball when they're willing to give you $6 or $7 million a year to fucking be in a shirt and tie for 1 day a week? Honest to God, why? Like, what else you want to do, man? Like, really, like, I'll never forget. So I took Greg Olson on his visit when he came to the University of Miami, and I had my wife, who's smoke show.
Good job, by the way. Thank you for getting me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had my wife, who's a smoke show, Katrina Campins, who's another smoke show, who's like, I don't know if you know Kat. She was on The Apprentice. She does like the Trump thing now. She's like Latins for Trump. Yeah, she's Latins for Trump and
She's
women for Trump.
recounting?
Yeah, I think so, actually. Yeah. And then Kelly Gaudette, who was Miss Florida. So I had those 3 smoke shows out with us that night that Greg Olson showed
With you?
up.
As an O-lineman?
Yeah, can you believe it?
Pretty shocked.
Terrible, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, overachiever, everything. And then I had Greg Olson, and I was like, I brought him the fucking thunder upon thunder. So I had Cubans, I had fucking American girls, I had everything.
The appetizer sampler.
Oh yeah, he had everything. He was crazy that night. Like, he had everything, and literally, and Greg's a good looking dude. G Reg from the 6th Flow, G Reg with the third leg.
6th floor.
6th Flow, and
so many
that night,
minor references.
yeah,
Good.
that night, G Reg, like, and I'll tell you what, like, girls, like, he's a good looking fucking dude. There's a reason why they want him to do TV. He's a pretty boy. His nickname is Pretty Boy. My wife gave him that nickname. And,
It doesn't shock me at all.
No, and G Reg with the third, and plus he's hung. Like, God works in mysterious ways. So he
I had so many
he
questions.
literally
I have so many questions.
he literally shows up, and then I find out from my offensive line coach in Jacksonville that when he ended up committing to Notre Dame, all the wives,
Gross.
coaches' wives included, had the hots for Greg. So the kid could pull whatever he wanted. And he's hung did I mention that he was hung?
You said that. This is now the
sorry.
4th time that you've mentioned that Greg Olson is hung like a horse.
Fucking
Greg Olson that plays for the
good
Seattle
Lord.
Seahawks.
The
He
good
still plays
Lord.
for the Seattle?
Yeah, he's there now. Yeah.
Man, hung like a horse, everyone. Just so everyone is aware. This has been so eye-opening, and I'm so happy right now.
Well, we didn't even get into a bunch of other shit that we can get into.
I know there's so many other things.
There's a lot.
I asked you when you sat at the bar, how was it to play against Vince Wilfork? I'm going to tell you,
You love Vince.
I love
and
Vince.
rightfully so. I think you should.
Vince Wilfork, my 2 favorite D linemen, because I'm a D lineman. My 2 favorite D linemen growing up were Trace Armstrong and Vince Wilfork.
That's cool. White guy, black guy.
Sure.
You're equal opportunist.
Yeah.
Equal opportunist.
Sure. Trace Armstrong, that's why I wore that number.
The balding white guy.
The balding
And
white
then-
guy that was carried off the field against the Buffalo Bills when we won
Very
in
true.
1997.
And the fat slob from the University of Miami, Vince Wilfork.
Yeah, I mean, but he wore, he wore the overalls and he was fun and he would just stop any double team or triple team in the world. It didn't matter. He would just you tried to run in the A gap either side, you weren't going to run
Well,
there.
I don't know if Joaquin told the story or not about Vince Wilfork, but so for instance,
He didn't. Joaquin was very official tire salesman when he was on the show, but I love him. He was
yeah,
great.
I don't have to worry about that. So here's the thing. I don't have to worry about international markets.
We're still waiting for the ad dollars.
I'm going to throw in that you're not in terms of, I don't know if he was still being official tire salesman when he made reference to the value of mayonnaise for masturbation.
That's right.
The best condiment for jacking off
That's right. He did.
is mayonnaise.
Did he say that? For
This
real?
was-
He did.
so we always-
he went into a whole, when we
always
parting recommendations.
Yeah, we always end the show with parting recommendations. Everybody recommends anything at all, and his it could be and I always say it could be a movie, it could be a book, it could be a song. And his recommendation was,
Masturbating
if you
with
need to masturbate with a condiment, the best is mayonnaise.
I think that's because he's Cuban. Because you guys put fucking mayonnaise on everything.
That's why he doesn't
Well,
put
there's
on his
nothing
arroz
wrong with
imperial.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's totally
Are you a
fine.
Dukes guy or a Hellman's guy?
I'm a Dukes guy.
Okay, just I wanted to make that clear.
I'm a Dukes guy.
So I don't know if Joaquin told the story or not, but the whole the Sugar Bowl fight of Vince Wilfork, where he was in high school ultimately and just arriving on University of Miami, jumping out of a voodoo shop and beating the fuck out of somebody from the University of Florida. That was incredible as is.
It is.
Vince.
It is.
So Vince, aside from his unbelievable, insatiable appetite for food, Vince is by far one of the sweetest human beings there is.
Oh, yeah?
And when he's on your side, he's the best. So Vince, I don't know if people know this either, but Vince lost both of his parents in the same year at the University of Miami. So his mom and his dad, and it was a weird dynamic too because his mom was a big lady, kind of like him, and his dad was a tiny motherfucker. So it was like really weird to see this dynamic, right? And so ultimately Vince was embraced by the team, and the team became his family. And Vince, I don't know why I keep being redundant by mentioning his name, but
Vince Wilfork,
Vincent
everyone.
Wilfork, yes. When we were playing the University of Nebraska, they had an offensive lineman by the name of Tinu Funodi, who was a Polynesian, go figure, and who was responsible for the pancake record for offensive linemen in college football.
I kind of remember this. Vaguely remember this.
And Tinu Funodi, who could bench the fucking world.
You played guard?
Yes.
Okay.
He was their guard.
Yeah.
And he was a mammoth human being. Drafted first round by the San Diego Padres. San Diego Chargers. I know they changed the name. I got to get it right. But drafted by the San Diego Chargers at the
They had
time.
a good game this week, the Chargers.
Yep, they did. Crickets. And and so all of a sudden, this is what Richie told me. Tinu was like God at Nebraska, and just like any other Polynesian family, they all fucking moved in with him. So in Lincoln, Nebraska, he had like a little house efficiency where they would hang up sheets to divide rooms in this little house, and his whole family, cousins, uncles, aunts, moved to Nebraska and lived in this like little house, little shack that was divvied up by bed sheets with mattresses on the floor and everything. But Tinu's like 440 pounds. Like he's a monster of a fucking human being. And again, responsible for the pancake, for those of you that don't know, is when an offensive lineman grabs a defensive lineman and puts him on his back and rolls on top of him. That's called a pancake.
It's disrespectful and you don't allow it to happen.
Exactly. It's a very disrespectful. And you saw the Penn State kid basically dry hump the other kid last weekend that he was playing against, that defensive end. And so we had our own Martin Bibla, who was Joaquin's boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it was. Roomy dog, whatever it might have been.
Boyfriend.
Yeah, but
Mayonnaise.
new times.
Mayonnaise.
So we're all even, Steven, whatever your flavor is. And so the Polish Punisher and Joaquin, the Polish Punisher, he's self-proclaimed. We never gave him that name. He called himself.
That's
that.
good though.
Yeah.
Give yourself a name. It's fine.
Yeah, it's weird. And so Bibla, all of a sudden, me and Bibla are benching the same. He goes home for a summer and he comes back benching 85 pounds more than me, which it didn't make sense, but. Maybe the spike was involved, but I'm not going to say anything.
It's fine.
It is
Polish.
Yeah, it's Polish. It's that
Bench pressing trees.
If he dies, he dies. Yeah, Dolph Lundgren shit. So, whatever happens. So anyway, our pancake guy was Bibla, and Bibla had a really good amount of pancakes. He led the team in pancakes. I think he had at that point in time. I don't know if there was like 60 or 70 pancakes so far at that point in time.
Happen. You just don't allow it
Yeah,
to happen.
you can't. It's a very demeaning process for a defensive lineman.
Take them all down.
But
don't
Tinu
get pancaked.
Funodi had like 238. And we would always be like, how the fuck you have 238 when we only got 60 by one guy? You know what I mean? Like, what are you categorizing as a pancake? So Richie told me that when we got off the bus at Disney World and Nebraska was walking by us at Disneyland over there, right? That's what it's called now.
Yeah,
right?
land.
So Disneyland, we're walking by them, and they literally started giggling and laughing, and they were mocking us because of how small we were.
Oh, yeah?
They thought they were going to fucking kill us, run us farm bred, Midwestern, country boys. They thought they were going to eat us alive.
That didn't work out.
No, it didn't work out too well for them.
Didn't work out.
And so they thought Tinu was going to destroy our defensive lineman. What's his name? We had Andrew Williams, who looked like he's fresh from the jailhouse, just did about 455 pull-ups. Cornrowed out. We a bunch of thugs, whatever it was. We had Vince Wilfork, obviously. We had Dookie on the other end, Jerome McDougal, a couple different rotation of guys in there. And Vince Wilfork, I think he was a sophomore at that point in time. And he got underneath Tinu Funodi on a 3rd and short, slammed him,
Oh, I remember this.
crawled over top of him, and smoked the fucking running back in the backfield. And the whole Nebraska sideline was just like, oh no.
Yeah, Vince was
Just happened.
Yeah, Vince was in a 4-point stance.
Yes.
He was in a 4-point stance, and he fucking just
And that's the
drilled
best part about
right
Vince,
over
too.
him.
That's the best part.
Just
Vince
drilled
is a
right-
sleeping fucking shark in the water. he'll lull you to sleep. You know, you'll take a couple plays off, and then all of a sudden,
No, D linemen don't take plays off.
smoke show. Vince is coming off the thing, grabbing your shoulder, ripping over top of you, and he finds money downs. They call it money downs for
Third
people that
down
don't know
and
what that is.
long.
Yes, that's where dudes make their money. Sacking, tackle for losses, when the game matters. There's a 4 or 5 play count in a game that makes a difference of the
I'm
outcome
so
of a game.
excited because I know this
You know,
all
I'm
makes
spitting-
me
I'm
very
spitting
happy.
locker room talk.
This all makes me very
I'm
happy.
spitting locker room talk. So
I'm very excited.
there
This all makes me
literally is 4 or 5 plays in a game that determine the outcome of the game.
happy. Money downs, third and long.
Out
Always.
of 85 of them, 4 or 5 are going to determine the outcome of a game. And Vince Wilfork took Tinu Finoti, slammed him, and then made a tackle for loss in the backfield. And all of the Nebraska football team said, holy shit, what just happened? And then you had defensive end chasing down their quarterback at that time, who was supposed to be the fucking greatest.
Tim Couch?
Tim
Couch.
Greatest thing since sliced bread.
Tim Couch?
Chase-
Eric Crouch. Eric Crouch.
Eric. Chasing him down, they were just like, a defensive end just caught him? That doesn't happen in
I know.
Big Ten football.
He was supposed to go to the league, and then he ended up playing slot receiver, and he didn't make it out of
Yeah,
camp.
he went as a wide receiver.
Yeah, it was
weird.
bad.
And that was basically the writing on the wall. And then that's when Vince Wilfork was just, it became, and I'll never forget my first down against the Patriots. I'm holding the football, getting ready to snap the football, and all of a sudden I hear, biggity big. So his nickname was Bezzy because there was a guy that cooked for us on campus named Bezzy, who made all these pasta chicken dishes, and Vince would get the fattest one. It was like soaked in ranch dressing, cheese, and bacon bits and all kinds of shit.
Yum.
And it was called the Bezzy. And Vince ate that shit every day. It was like 2,800 calories. And he would eat it before practice, so we would nickname him Bez, Big Bez. And so his nickname was Bezzy. So I'll never forget this. I went from like Willie McGinnis, and then all of a sudden this rookie defensive tackle for the Patriots is like over the football, dripping on it and going, he's trying to spit on the football, and I'm like, this motherfucker's spitting on the, and all of a sudden he's like, biggity big, and I like look up and I'm like, oh, this motherfucker. I like dying laughing because that was the first time I saw Vince in like 2 years. You know, I was just dying laughing, and that's the way he was. He played fierce, he played fun, and he's just an all-around good dude, man. And then I'll never forget, we had the first Paradise Camp together here when Rick showed up, Mark Rick, and we're doing Paradise Camp, and it's all of us in a room. And it's like Michael Irvin, Ray, Sappy.
Oh, when Mark Rick tried to bring back all the alumni.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So we're all sitting in the room changing, and we're all putting our gear on. And then Vince is in the front telling stories about the Houston Texans, the year that he wore the overalls with the boots and shit
Yeah.
like that. And he said that Coach O'Brien grabbed the fucking starting quarterback at halftime, and he chased the starting quarterback at halftime, which was Schwab, I think, or Schaub. His name was
Matt Schaub.
Matt Schaub. Literally running. Like,
Fattest
imagine
contract
halftime.
for such a
Brutal.
terrible quarterback.
So imagine you're at halftime and you got the head coach chasing after the fucking starting quarterback who's running into a room trying to lock the door. O'Brien kicks the door down. All of a sudden the door shuts. It's
Bill O'Brien.
And then, yes. And then
Bill O'Brien was just fired.
And then O'Brien's on the top of Schaub beating the piss out of him.
Man,
Behind
this
closed
is
doors
good.
at halftime. And then Schaub comes out, security guard kicks the door down. They pull each other apart. Schaub comes in, he's fucking busted up. His
This
his
is so
face just got
good.
lumped up.
This is amazing.
And O'Brien just walks away. And then Vince Wilfork was like, I just showed up from New England, where Bill Belichick ran the fucking show. And this doesn't happen in New England. And I just watched the head coach beat the piss out of the starting quarterback, who's about to go back out there right now and start the second half. I've never seen anything like it before. So when Vince told this story, it was incredible. It was a fucking great story.
Oh, man.
And then you got Michael Irvin in the background talking about, hey, dog, hey, look at the story, look at Scars, dog, look at the Scars. And he's like trying to show how good of a shape he was in
Yeah.
for a 50-something fucing year old man. And then we're like, God damn, did you have your shoulder replaced? Because nowadays they got scopes. Back in the day, they used to cut you from elbow all the way to the fucking clavicle. So it was just, same shit. University of Miami, you rip each other apart, you bring each other back down to earth, you ground each other, regardless of where you're at. what
It's
you're
just
doing.
real. It's that accountability thing, which
is.
is so
Full circle. I like this full circle we're coming
full.
into. Right?
I know it's
Yeah.
the full circle thing. I remember it was like a year and a half ago, maybe. I was asked to be on Iron Chef. It was like a new.
badass.
It was
Cool.
a new version of Iron Chef.
Cool.
And I said, I'll be on the show, but only if my team can only wear fatigues. We're going to show up like UM in the 80s.
Like Vinny Testaverde style.
Yes, and we would only wear fatigues. And they were like,
COVID.
we can't allow that. And I was like, then I can't be on your show. So why not? I was like, this is the way we do it in Miami. There's only one way.
I like
And
that.
this is the way that
And they
it's
didn't
gonna
want to
be.
participate in
And they
that.
didn't
They
wanna
could have developed the whole storyline. behind
I
it.
know! It would have been such a good fucking
Who the fuck is the
story.
producer of that show?
It
God
doesn't
damn it!
matter because shows are dumb anyways. But I was more like, the team, and we could do it all on TV, and we would probably fucking smoke whoever we were going up against.
I like that.
But we were going to show up in fatigues.
Were you would have gotten all twisted up too?
What do you mean? Like
The fuck?
beforehand?
with the rose? Would you done?
For sure.
You would have
I
wrote
mean,
it out.
any kind of event.
You wouldn't have wore golds or nothing though, would you?
I have golds. Come
No,
on.
the fuck
You can
you-
tell he doesn't listen to the show. Come on, Brett.
You have golds too?
I do. I have 2 gold caps. Yeah, absolutely.
I done thought I heard it all before. Obviously, I did not.
Yeah, I mean, I approach so many things like you am in the 80s.
You also have your car.
I also have a 61 Cadillac. That's correct.
No way.
I do. She's
Good
not
for
here.
you.
She's down for the count, but she'll be back.
You getting a little bit of restored? You getting a little bit tune up, or
Right now, oh man, this is so frustrating.
Sore
These old
subject.
cars. This is such a sore subject. Right now, she's getting 2 pistons replaced and a new starter, and the headers are getting resealed. But yeah, I have a 61 Cadillac Series 62. She's sitting in front of my house right now. Yeah, it's just like that.
cross
It's
it
just
up?
like that.
Cross it up.
So, anyways, I guess this is the portion that we start to wrap up.
Sure.
I guess we start.
So
to wrap.
we'll do the recommendation thing.
Beforehand.
Oh, man, you got
before
things
we
to
get
say?
into- I don't have things to say. I just want to. I want to read a tweet
Okay.
that I let out to the world, and I feel like the world is confused by the tweet, and I want to read it.
You're gonna provide context.
Not all. You actually retweeted the tweet.
I did.
No.
That sounds like a thing I would.
Romberg did.
Oh,
Let's
okay.
get funky. Do I eat before or do I wait till I get there, sir?
Everything revolves around food for me.
Yeah, no, I got
it.
it.
Really does.
Let me read the tweet. Crazy. So many restaurants doing Thanksgiving to-go packages. Weird. I'm shocked. Wonder why. Emoji. Going like this.
Did you do the black guy or the white guy with the? I don't
White
know
guy,
what's
white
going
guy.
on.
White
Okay.
guy with a little bit of tan.
Okay.
Anyone know why everyone's wearing a mask? I'm shocked. Emoji. Like this.
Like you're thinking, yeah.
Yeah.
Super weird day. Seems like everything's hitting me all at once, and I have no context to the entire fucking year. Pancom Podcast with Romberg 66 tomorrow. I got some shit to say.
You want to? Are we explaining this tweet or?
A food journalist, she who will not be named,
Female. Okay.
female, let a tweet out into the world, was like, I'm so shocked as to why I'm getting so many emails of Thanksgiving to-go packages. So weird. I wonder why. I wonder why. I wonder why. I wonder why everyone's wearing a fucking mask. I'm so shocked as to why people want to do Thanksgiving in their house instead of going to a restaurant. I'm shocked. I have no context or understanding of anything that makes any sense. I don't know, so I let out a dumb tweet to the world to make myself look like an idiot. And that's my rant for the day.
Yeah. The context, to add further context, most people didn't know what you were subtweeting.
I know, and then people were like, but it's because there's a pandemic. No fucking shit, people!
Right.
That there's a fucking pandemic.
This
I
was
understand that.
It was a clumsy subtweet.
It wasn't clumsy. I was very stoned when I fucking tweeted that. It was just like...
Transparency.
Oh, there's a lot
Listen,
of that around here.
everything's fine here. This
Are
isn't
you a burner?
1210
Are you
the
a burner
man.
guy or no?
Yeah, I am, but right now I'm broke, so I'm just eating edibles that I got in fucking when I went to
Do you have your
Utah.
card? I know you can get your card down here now.
Yeah, I know, but my card is the guy who lives 3 blocks away, so that's the only card I need.
Probably cheaper too than the dispensaries, no?
Well, it's better, and yeah, it's probably cheaper. I wouldn't doubt that.
I know. I'm usually when I'm not going to go ahead and bust anybody, but when you would travel over to San Francisco to play the 49ers or whoever,
The 49ers.
you would normally go ahead and hit the dispensaries up over there.
What? Would you? I'm so
Yeah.
shocked. That's weird. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
NFL football players are human beings.
I know.
Weird.
That's weird.
So there's people that didn't understand my tweet into its context, and I'm giving you the context of why that happened. And I'll probably continue to get blackballed of all your lists that you don't want to put me in, and I'm totally fucking okay with that.
You're gonna ride or die, huh? You're doing your own thing restaurant-wise. Then I like that.
That's absolutely correct. And
Gold caps and all.
Not
Gold
not
caps.
conforming dreads,
gold
not dreads,
caps,
but rose.
Cadillacs, and all of the
When was
above.
the last time you saw a white dude with rose?
Last month when I got mine. The
Yeah,
best part.
that's the thing. I haven't seen. I did rose one year.
Yeah,
When
I
I was
mean,
at
your hair
University of
looks
Miami.
like it would make sense.
I had my hair down to my shoulders, so I would rock. I had Turtle, this girl Turtle, who was on the track team, used to sit between Turtle's legs and get my hair all rode out. And yeah, man, I loved it.
My hair person's name is Cam. Braids by Cam. You can find her on Instagram. This is another free ad that we have just done
do a
here
lot
on
of
Pancom Podcast. She is amazing. She comes to you and she does a great job. But yeah, I've done them since high school, all through college for every game. I had braids majority of the time, if I could afford them. And yeah, I just, why the fuck not?
If I saw a white dude all rode out in a restaurant, I'd be like, "Holy shit, that dude is gangster!" Like,
Yeah, that's why you
it's
get 1-star reviews and
2020,
you get called
motherfucker.
Exhibit.
Wow.
It's like, I
There
don't
you
know.
go.
Here's the thing, and this is we're gonna go back to what we talked about, like I don't know, probably an hour ago now. So often, the Miami restaurant scene wants to be like somebody else, right?
Of course.
We
Yes.
want to be like this restaurant in New York. We want to be
course.
like this restaurant in Chicago or California. I don't care for any of that. I want to be like a restaurant in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be a Miami born and raised human being of Cuban-American descent and doing shit my own
It's
way.
weird why everybody wants to come here, but they want to be elsewhere. Like the people here want to,
Because they feel
replicate
like
elsewhere.
it will get more people through the door.
Yeah.
The only reason that we have been extremely blessed and fortunate to the fact that people continue to support us through this very fucked up time, I don't know if everyone's noticed, we're all wearing masks because it's a worldwide pandemic. But the only reason why people still come here is because people believe in the community and the fact that we are homegrown, 100% Miami through and through, and we will be like that, ride or die forever. And I don't wish to be like anyone else. I wish to be like us. And that's, I think for some people, that actually rubs them the wrong way. I think for some people, they would rather us be like, well, we're trying to be some, no. The idea here is to bring a Michelin star to Miami and to be the first born and bred Miami native to do that. Just like you guys wanted to win championships, this is the version of that for us. So we
But
will
doing it your way. Yeah,
That's
I
right.
like it.
We will continue to go down that track.
Cool. Very
So,
cool.
parting recommendations.
Ready to do some parting recommendations?
Mandalorian season 2. I'm on episode 3. It was fantastic. Fantastic. I am so upset that I did not know this Disney Plus. We got it for free on a 6-month thing. I'm sad to know that they actually release these episodes every week and not just out into the world all at once. And I learned that the hard way last night at 3 a.m. when I finished. And I'm like, why are we done already? And they were like, no, you have to wait till Friday. And I'm like, well, fuck you two. Thank you so much. So that's my parting recommendation
Okay.
of things.
Brett, you got anything you want to recommend?
Also, read Eater. They have great content. Go on.
Well, I guess you could say I'll follow in the footsteps of the great Cuban Messiah Joaquin Gonzalez. That where he alluded to masturbating with mayonnaise as a condiment might be the best thing to do. I'm going to go I guess you could say the what not to do, and
Mayonnaise as a condiment for
yeah,
masturbation.
I'll say that if for those of you that are looking at, for instance, the guys that are my age, for those of you that might be testosterone deficient, if you've ever gone and get tested,
So good.
and if you decided to go ahead and partake in the testosterone therapy, be prepared that you will wake up swinging for the fences every morning, post testosterone enhancement, where you are going to need to, I guess you could say, take batting practice in the spare bedroom bathroom on a regular basis in the morning. But what I will recommend in terms of an accompaniment of that personal assault mission, do not use Bronner's body wash, where in the beginning it has a nice menthol smell to it.
Yeah. Coconut.
But once the wind hits it, it's fucking detrimental that it's going to be kind of freezing cold. So you're kind of contradicting the outcome of what you're trying to achieve. And basically, just, don't play baseball in the cold is ultimately what I'm trying to let everybody know.
1210 The Man.
Oh man. I'm gonna do 2 recommendations. One of them is one of our free plugs that we do here.
We do free plugs?
Thanks to Nick Malillo at Foundation Cigars for this box of Charter Oak cigars that he sent us.
Yeah, they were nice.
Those are
Smoked
good
the fuck out of those
and
things.
a great value. Those are like $5 a stick, which for the money, that is a tremendous cigar for $5-6.
I hate them because I gotta take a leak.
Oh, you got to take a leak. That's fine. I'll do your shameless plugs for you. Don't worry about it. And then I'm also going to recommend, if this was news to me.
Can I recommend something for you?
Go ahead. Yeah, go for it.
I noticed that you're the only one with the giant bush on the end of your microphone.
Yes.
So maybe I don't know, the peanut or some Manscaped kind of materials.
Okay.
Because it will make the tree look a lot thicker and bigger at the basin.
Yeah.
Of it. Because I noticed that you're dealing with plenty of hair.
All this?
At the bottom of that microphone.
Yeah.
And you got like a space age tripod going on right now too.
It's true. Yeah.
But I imagine, some people are dealing with heavier machinery than others.
Correct.
Which, we're sitting here with, what looks to be something that might not hit all the sides. We're dealing with more length right now. So we might be a piercer as opposed to a side hitter, where you're dealing with a substantial amount of machinery over there.
A lot of machinery.
Yeah, like thick.
The girth is outrageous.
Yeah, it's it's impressive. It's definitely it's going to touch on a lot of things.
It's going to touch all the things.
Yeah.
So there's that.
There's that.
And then also I'm going to recommend, if you haven't, I only recently discovered the Mr. Delicious ads for Racks chain of restaurants.
Boobs?
No, chain of restaurants. But Mr. Delicious is the worst cartoon spokesperson ever devised for a restaurant. And if you haven't gotten on YouTube and checked out Mr. Delicious ads, he's like imagine like the Hamburglar or the King with. But this was a guy for a now defunct chain called Racks, and Mr. Delicious was like a depressed middle-aged man who was the cartoon spokesperson for a restaurant whose tagline was literally "You can eat here." Incredible! It was a story. I was not familiar with, and I'm really glad I learned about it. And we'll share it in the show notes for this show.
You're talking about when the McDonald's, the thing, and the guy next door with the car and all the music?
You can't just show up in the middle of the movie and ask everybody what's going on.
This isn't fucking real.
Yeah. It's...
So, yeah. By the way, I want to thank Enrique Red Hernandez for if you have a recommendation. Red is the reason we got Brett on the show.
I don't talk that much.
And Red, if you have a recommendation you want to make to the people,
you have the first off. I don't know if anybody knows me, but I know all the C-level celebrities and athletes. G-level celebrities and athletes.
I go further down the alphabet. Yeah.
I met Brett years ago working with him and through walking and all that. Brett invited me a couple times out, and every time I went out, I was with like somebody of
way more important stature than myself.
Absolutely. I was like, what are you doing here? So what I've learned about Brett is you've got the most extensive phone book full of awesome A-list people.
My Rolodex is strong.
I'm going to ask you two questions. Is one is, can you help us get Wolf for Mike? And the second thing is, give me the most A-list dude on your phone book, because I've actually configured your phone. And I was like, dude's got Gretzky. You had Gretzky. Who's your most A-list dude on the phone right now? Because you have a list. You're like...
Well, that's the thing. Like, people don't understand. Like, I literally have friends that are really cool fucking people that I don't give a fuck what they do or who they are or what they've done or that kind of thing.
So Gretzky's that dude?
Well,
No,
the
you
fact
gotta-
that the fact
is a big deal.
He's
fact-
got Wayne Gretzky on his phone, and he's got you had Jordan, Michael. No,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
yeah, Mike.
yeah.
You had Arthur Blank on your phone.
yeah.
That's crazy.
Arthur Blank.
Well, the fact that I hit on Wayne's wife in the gym in Toronto one night, in the hotel, and then
Well,
Wayne.
I didn't ask you to throw dirt.
This was bad. This was really bad. They were there for like the hockey championships, and I saw her go to the gym off the elevator, and I hurry up and ran in my room and fucking started. Obviously, you know Wayne's daughter, who's like all
She's
over
the smoke show, right?
So I was like, oh my god, okay. So it was the daughter and his wife. And I'm like hurrying up and changing my clothes in Toronto. And I go down and I get into the gym. And no, of course, I go sit next to her and I like start running next to her and I start chopping it up with her. And she's being super social butterfly because she's fucking married to Wayne Gretzky. It is what it is.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, she wants to go stretch. So fuck, I'm getting off the treadmill. I'm gonna go stretch too. And then all of a sudden, Wayne shows up. Wayne's like, "Hey, Brett, what's going on?" I'm just like, "What's up, man? How are you?" And he's like, "Good." And he goes, "So you met my wife?" And I'm just like, I have.
No, dude. Like, so one time I was like, "Oh, Brett, I want to go to chili cook-off." Funny you mentioned Mike's chili cook-off champ.
I never won a chili cook-off, for fuck's sake. It's
All
not
right.
a factual
Well,
statement.
either way,
Go on.
Rascal Flatts is headlining. He's boys with all of them, and he's like,
Flats.
he brings them on board, and he goes, "Yeah, we're going to the cook-off." I'm like, we're going with the Rascal Flatts. I'm like, all right, cool, we'll go see them. Yeah. No, I was in the trailer. Dude's singing. Dude's got a crazy voice.
Gary, yeah.
Yeah. So Brett is for me, a fun fact, dude's got the most extensive phone book I've ever seen in my life. So we're going to get Vince Wilfork.
Yeah, let's make that happen.
Yeah.
Let's make
And
that
the other
happen.
thing is you're starting a podcast. I want you're also doing something, or you're doing a show.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to do a fishing show. So I'm going to do that. It's going to like kind of revolutionize the way that people look at fishing.
Would you be open to having a chef on?
Fuck yeah, because I want to do it like I want to do one of the shows in the Bahamas where like we literally dive, catch, and then cook,
Cool.
and then sit down.
Here you go. I'm gonna pass this to Mike because I think that does good collaboration.
Are you a good seafood? Or you make a lot of seafood stuff
The
too?
restaurant next door that is closed currently is a seafood restaurant.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's what we do. I mean, we're in South Florida, so I hope we
That's
can
what I was
cook
gonna say.
Seafood.
I was just gonna say yeah.
So, hold on.
Music wise, I have a lot of friends in the music business too, so I'm like a music fucking junkie.
Are you?
Junkie.
What is your music vibe?
Like
If you're gonna play some music, what's the first thing you go to?
maybe Deftones.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I'll go them. So which they're my boys. Tout.
Dropping bombs.
Name drop.
Deftones, my
But
boys.
like literally.
Have you ever heard of Marty from Problem Kids? Anyways, that's a totally different subject, but that's on my Rolodex. Mario, you heard it here first. You're my trump card. Go on to Deftones.
So like
Bag
Deftones,
bean trump card.
but like it got to the point where it was like, okay, so like Kid Rock, Deftones, Killswitch Engage, Mudvayne guys. Like I have like a tie like the night that like the guy from Drowning Pool OD'd. We were partying. That was a bad scene. Ozfest. So like, a lot of different I'm more of a rocker kind of guy than I am but then like, when I was in Atlanta, you had like Jeezy, you had fucking Future, you had all these other dudes too that were like hanging and kicking it with. So
Jeezy's about to do a versus with Gucci Mane. It's going to be a thing.
oh really?
Yeah, it's going to be a thing. Just got released yesterday.
And then T.I. was really cool dude.
You can sing?
Yeah, man.
You're a singer?
Yeah.
Well, wait, what kind of music do you sing?
Predominantly rock, but if you could sing, you could sing. You know what I mean? You could sing.
This is
sing.
good.
You could sing.
Come on, like give me one. Just Brett Rump. Listen, no one listens to this, so it's fine. So just give me like one. Give me one.
Oh, after smoking cigars and drinking booze, I don't know. We can do whatever you want to do. We'll
No,
do.
not me. This isn't about me. It's about you. What do you want to do?
You can do, depending on the style of music. You can do, wow. You can do that kind of thing. You can do like R&B stuff too. You can.
Yep.
Ooh, hey, Very first time that I saw your brown eyes. Oh, yeah, you can do all kinds of shit, bro.
Boys to men.
We could do all kinds of stuff. We could do, what else you want to get into? I've never learned how to fucking scream, and I've been dying to do it. Like, in terms of, like, the...
Screamfest. Yeah, I showed up to that once at Gramps, and it was a bad scene.
I
But
can't,
it happened
do
only
it, man.
one time.
I can't do it. I'll lose the voice immediately.
Yeah, R&B, that's good, though. You're
I'll be-
like,
yeah,
it's
I'll
just
be,
very soulful Canadian.
Yeah, I'll do that stuff. Like a little acoustic guitar stuff, too, you know what I mean? So I was like an instrumental guy, too. I used to do guitar, drums. I wanted to be a musician before I wanted to be anything else, so...
Like,
this
we're
is-
unpacking this an
There's-
hour or two is crazy.
there's a whole other podcast here.
This is like, I feel like we have just...
Which is ironic is, like, I'll put it this way. So I took the athletic director at Miami to a Rascal show, and I was trying to bend over, what's his name? Tim Tebow. And, you know, I was threatening him behind stage one time, and then Lindsey Vonn jumped on my back, and it just became a whole fucking problem.
Lindsey Vonn jumped
it
on
just
my
got
back.
crazy. It was just weird.
Bend
My wife
over,
wasn't
Tim
happy.
Tebow,
I'm
backstage.
Tiger's
God.
house. It got weird.
Tiger...
The golfer. Yeah, it was
I've
weird.
heard of that guy.
Yeah. It was weird. It's a weird time.
Shameless
Man,
plug.
and so you're gonna start a fishing show. I feel like you have a lot of things to unpack other than fishing.
That's a good thing to drop in the shameless plugs.
The fishing show?
Yeah. So this is the portion of our show where we do all of our shameless plugs. Now that we've recommended things that have nothing to do with us.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to drop my other show. So
Yeah.
it's called, I'll tell you, it's called Offensive Lines. So it's like, has to do with my boat, has to do with,
What kind of boat you got?
well, I had a Pursuit. Now I'm getting ready to get into possibly a CV. Or I'm looking at going with like a sport fish kind of boat where it's either going to be
Got a
a
very-
Viking or whatever. So,
Got a very small boat. I have a very small boat that I'm very proud of.
bro, it's not about the size of the boat.
That's right. It's about the motion of the ocean.
better
It's more
believe it.
about the girth of the boat.
That's it.
From what I heard.
It's how it handles itself when it comes into those treacherous waters. You got to be able to adapt.
Where is this? This show is going to be where?
Kind of in negotiations right now with a couple major networks, to be honest with you.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, it's going to be, and I think from what I've understood so far, the third quarter of this year, so towards the summertime, it's going to have to do with like a lot of like the Rolodex that I was mentioning.
Wayne
Out.
Gretzky will be on this show, from what I heard.
Do you want to hear a nasty story about Wayne Gretzky before we leave?
I'd love nothing more than to hear a nasty story about
here's
Wayne
my,
Gretzky.
Here's my first celebrity golf tournament. I told the story before, but I don't know if your audience has ever heard it. The Food Network people, not necessarily like Food Network, but like
I was
the
going to say I don't support
the
Food Network.
the foodies.
Oh, the Foodie Network.
The foodies. So imagine this: you're getting invited to. Let's just say you're starting in the cooking industry, and you get invited to a celebrity cooking event, where like you're dealing with the end all be all of French Laundry or whoever it might be. So my
Oh, the
foursome,
Thomas Kellers of the world.
my foursome is me, Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky, and their money guy, a man by the name of Ashif Jiwa, and Lawrence Taylor. So that's our
LT.
foursome.
God,
That's our
what
foursome.
What a fucking football
And
player.
we roll up. We're here in Miami Beach at Indian Creek, and the first hole, we get to the green, and then LT looks at Mike, and he's like, "Same thing as last week." And then Mike's like, "$120," and he goes, "Yeah." So I looked at a Ashif, their money guy, who was this Indian dude from Canada, from British Columbia, and I looked at Ashif, and I was just like, "Ashif, I'm gonna get killed. I'm not spending $120 a fucking hole, man." And he goes, No, they're going 120 grand.
Grand?
120
120,000?
a hole.
A hole?
A hole.
Oh, man.
And
What?
So that day, because Lawrence whooped Michael Jordan's ass the week before in Vegas, Mike at our table wrote LT a check for $1.2 million for 2 weekends of golf, 2 rounds of golf. Let's just say 2 rounds of golf. Yeah. And
You didn't partake in this.
Fuck no. I was like a spectator. And then ironically, so we're I don't spend any money. So we're driving, and I looked at a sheaf, and I'm just like, a sheaf. And he's like explaining to me, like, that's Enrique Iglesias' house, and that's a lot for $10 million, and you have to build a $10 million structure. And I'm telling you, this was like 15 fucking years ago. And I looked at a sheaf and I'm just like, who the fuck can afford to spend $20 million on a fucking crib? Like, and I'm young athlete money, like don't know anything. And he goes, well, that's my ex-wife's house. And I'm just like, oh, so you're the money guy that's handling their money.
Yeah.
I can only imagine really when you get to that elite level of
Money.
of fuck you money.
Well, Jordan has
Fuck you
serious fuck you money.
Oh yeah,
If he changed the game for all athletes.
everything, apparel, shoes, branding. Yes, he really is the godfather. When
You
it
got
comes to-
Jordans dropping every day that are going for like $1,000 on like the back end of eBay.
When we were in Atlanta, a couple of us who had Nike accounts literally would pay kids to stay up, and because Nike would only allow you to order one pair at a time, and we would pay them to order the J's that were dropping.
That
And they
still
would,
happens.
They would refresh,
No.
and just order with our Nike
That
contract.
still happens.
It's fucking incredible.
It's incredible.
Not as incredible as this menu that's here, by the way, ladies and gentlemen.
Nick, do all the things.
No, we went through Brett's shameless plugs. You want to do your
you
shameless
did your
plugs?
shameless plugs?
Yeah, for the
Of
show.
course.
Yeah.
Oh, you did? 1210 the man.
No pena.
No, yeah, no.
No
We're not on
pena.
the man anymore. You need my shameless
Yeah,
plugs?
plug your
All right.
stuff.
Ariete, Miami. Nave, Miami. Chugg's Diner. Stay tuned for all the renovation information that's coming up very soon.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Side note, really quick, not
Shoot.
to interrupt you. I'm a fucking, you know me, I'm a sucker for food, but I always want to take, like, we used to go to the place next door. Like, I was even a member at that fucking wine place here next door.
Oh, that is
Cave.
now. I own it. It's downstairs.
Well, that's the thing. We used to come here all the fucking time, Like, I'm talking weekend, and do private dinners downstairs.
Oh, I like
And
that.
then David was our wine guy. There was like a maitre d', like wine sommelier kind of guy, David, French guy, and we used to come here all the time. So for somebody that lives in, like, I'm in Gables by the Sea / Pinecrest area, like that. That's where we
you went
lived the
so
last while.
suburban, huh? Pinecrest.
Yeah. So
Crazy.
imagine. So imagínate. You got that whole crew
Imagínate.
over there. Imagínate. That whole crew over there who is not aware of what's going on in the Grove, because for the most part everybody's aware of Mr. C's because
Trash.
it's the fucking
Fucking
end all be all. You got to show up there.
Trash.
Other than that, and when it comes to the Grove, everybody's just basically wrote it off as like it's under construction.
On
So-
my worst day, their food is not better than ours.
plus, I heard it's fucking an arm and a leg to go there too.
It is. So I went there once with one of my mentors for lunch, only because he was paying. Because I sure as shit was not going to pay for that.
Mhm.
And it was like, I remember they had the veal. I had a veal parm, and it was just like, veal
By the way,
parm
one of my favorite
nuggets.
dishes in the world.
Veal parm. Stay tuned for Nave. It's opening up very soon. If you want good veal parm, and we went, and I was very reluctant, but he said he was going to pay, so I was okay with that. And it was just like $56 for this like veal parm
Like
nuggets.
little mini cutlets.
I'm like, what is this trash? So bad. It's $56. And people go there. You know why? 'Cause it's got a nice fucking view. That's how fucking shallow this place is sometimes. You know, like it's got a nice view.
That used to be
Doesn't-
a parking lot, bro. We used to park in that motherfucker for $5.
I know. Well, now
$5.
you should be paying $5 for the food that they serve there. That's what you should be paying. But instead, we're paying $56 for veal Parmesan cutlets that are no good.
So there's that.
Well, here's the thing. So imagine all of my little community that I live in with, and the private school people, and the Pinecrest, and the Pinecre,
The Lourdes. The Lourdes group.
the Coco Plum people, all that other shit. You got to go to fucking Mr. C's, because that's where all the esposas quiere. Vamos para Mr. C con let me give me a fucking champagne. Like that's what they want. You know what I mean?
Trash.
So can you imagine? So now we're stuck like fucking Chuck trying to go ahead and take where do we go? Like where do we need to fucking
You
go?
were
Aside
just-
from here now.
you
Now that
were
I
just
now
there.
that
Well-
I'll put it this way. When I drove by here, I'm just like, I know where Taurus is. Because
Ah.
it's the fucking old place where, everybody used to go ahead and have a fucking great time at.
It's also mine.
I'm gonna shameless.
Yeah.
So like here's the thing, like where do we go now here in the Grove?
Yeah, no, you were just there.
Right when you get into the goddamn Grove, coming down
I'm-
the main road.
I'm gonna transition here to a shameless plug for you. You specifically come here tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow we have the tasting event. We actually have 6 seats available left, which this won't be released in time, so it
No.
doesn't matter.
No, but there will be another one the following month.
But yeah, we do that. We do these tasting events here every month, 10 to 12 courses. Here's the problem, though. people like glitz and glamour. We don't provide that. This is a real mom and pop operation. I built this motherfucker with my bare hands. And, I mean, we've grown. Obviously, we have other locations that you could tell, like, wow, they spent a lot of money here. Like, this is not the one. But this is the flagship. This is the one that made it all possible. And this is the one that, if there is a Michelin star to go out, this is the one that will get it.
No, but I will say, and not to blow smoke up your ass. There you go. But I mean, and I'm sure that you've done more of this than I have, like world-class restaurant tasting menu stuff on all those lists of this is on par with any of that. The dinner they're doing tomorrow night, I did it 2 months ago. I'm sure the menu's not identical, but it's...
So 2 months ago, no.
It's a meal you'll be talking about for the rest of your life.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of like what we're talking about. And it's what we've mentioned several times. It's like, Miami should be proud of Miami food. And we should not try to be like anyone else. And that's what we do here. That's what we're very proud to do. So I'm okay with the people that want to go to Mr. C's and they want to be part of that thing. They won't get this usually. They won't understand it. And it's fine. That's like I was mentioning to you before. People that have things to say about the music or this and that. That's okay. That's totally... I'm not going to placate to you. I'm not going to do my thing so you can feel comfortable. We have other locations for that. We have a diner for that. We have a seafood restaurant for that. We'll have a French brasserie for that. We have tours for that. We have Scapegoat. But this one is out to make moves, and it's out to make people feel uncomfortable. And then when they do it, they're just like, oh, this was really good. That's the whole idea of this space in particular. So, it's interesting you bring up Mr. C's, and then now so many other things that are coming to the Grove. People are asking, like, oh, are you worried? I'm like, no, why would I be worried? What do I have to be worried about? There's other people. That's good. There's other types of food. That's fine. But to scare me into what? To try to put tuna tartare with wasabi aioli on my menu? No, bro, that's not going to happen. So it's like, if you're looking for conformity, that's not going to happen here. If you're looking for good food, that will happen here. Good service, good food, good cocktails, good wine, good everything. But conformity, you won't find.
I saw the liquor on the wall. The liquor selection, I can attest. It's a very fucking good top shelf, good choice selection of booze. Like, really nice.
And that's what we do from the beverage side all the way down to the food side to the operational side. It's like our thing. Like I said, in the 80s. We wear fatigues all day. That's how we want to be. Like Mr. C's can do their thing. They can placate to the people. They can sit there and bitch and moan and whatever you need. Like, nah, man. We're not giving you what you need. We're giving you what you should have.
So what about like a brunch location?
We also have brunch on Saturday and Sunday.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
That's the only business move that I make here.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Because I remember they used to do a decent brunch at the old restaurant. I remember what it was called. It's like the sister restaurant of the one that's in Merrick Park, right? Calamari.
That's right.
Yeah.
Tom Belante. One of the very
yes.
long-standing restaurateurs of South Florida that's crushed it with carpaccio and so many other things. Calamari was not what carpaccio is or does, but it was there for a long time.
Yeah.
We took over Calamari, it's been 2 years now. And then we built it out for a year. And then obviously through this year, we were only open for 4.5 months. And then obviously
the shit at the fan.
And then the COVID came.
Yeah.
There you go.
Apparently only after 10 a.m.
But you guys do a brunch thing.
We do one there. We do one here. We do
Cool.
brunch everywhere.
Cool.
Brunch
Awesome.
in the Grove is like, you have to do brunch.
Yeah.
Because, for some reason, assholes still go to Green Street for some god-awful reason. For the dreadful
I go to there to get hummus. I do the hummus platter. Every single time I've been I've never ordered anything else at the Green Street ever in my life. I fucking went there with A-Rod and his chicas.
Oh,
I went there.
Chicas.
I still don't understand. A-Rod and J-Lo still go to Green Street. I don't get it.
Well, I don't know if J-Lo knows, but he also fucking took Tori there. He took fucking Cameron there. It's just...
Man.
It is
Dropping knowledge here on Pondcomb Podcast.
It is what it is. And then you got like Spo. Spo goes there all the time. Spo goes there all the time too to have his meetings that he does with the coaching staff and stuff like that.
I know. Spo used to come here. But also it's because I don't placate the people that the reason why they don't want to come back. Usually.
You didn't placate the Spo?
I didn't placate to anybody.
Give him a Filipino dish, he's in. Trust me. Give him a Cuban Filipino fusion dish, he's in.
But that's totally in our wheelhouse. You just got to come back and give us a chance. Listen, I'm the guy that's been on fucking Twitter for the last 3 months trying to get a Spolstra college jersey, and Jimmy Butler won't give up the information on where the fuck to get it. And now,
I'll get that for you.
do you see what I'm saying?
There you go.
Now,
This is the main reason we do this podcast.
yeah, now.
Speaking of which, here are the shameless plugs for Pancom Podcast. You can find Pancom Podcast at datemag.com/Pancom Podcast. We're on all the social media
Nick has
things.
tried to end this podcast at
Pancom
least for the last
Podcast.
30 minutes.
No, you're out of control. No.
He's equally as bad as I am. all I needed to say, I got it out. You know,
got it
I'm
out.
shocked why people wear masks. I don't know. This hit me for the first time today. No idea why.
Eater.com.
Continuing.
So thank you, Brett, for
pleasure,
joining
man. It's
us
been great.
here.
It's been awesome.
I'm sure we'll do this again,
I got one
or
last
maybe
thing to
never.
One last thing to say.
Oh, no shit.
How old are you now?
40.
40, huh? No, you're 41. Are you 41? 40?
79. Am I 41 then?
No, you're 41.
I'm 41 then.
Yeah, it's 79.
Yeah.
That makes the way the
Yeah, I
numbers
just had a
go.
birthday.
You did.
Yeah,
When's
I
your
did.
birthday?
10th
Of what?
October.
Oh yeah, happy birthday!
Happy birthday. Look at that.
Happy
I don't remember.
birthday!
I really don't.
That's
another.
good.
That's a whole other podcast.
Where are
I
you
don't
going
remember
with this?
shit. I don't remember a lot of stuff.
What's going on?
So I recently, I've made this effort to reconnect all of my high school friends. We have a very small group of friends. We all played football together. We all ended up going to small Division III colleges, except for one that went to UMass, whatever. So we did this thing at a friend's house that we all got together to watch the Dolphin game, right? Which was cool. I'm like, totally, everything's fine. So I show up, and I'm like, is there beer? Right? And they're like, yeah, the beer's in the fridge.
Seems like it's a pretty fucking reasonable question.
Reasonable. So I open up the fridge, and there's just a bunch of White Claws in the fridge. And
Rahinas.
I go,
Who
wait.
fucking?
I go, wait.
What grown man?
I go, wait a second. No, wait. Okay, let me correct myself. There's White Claw and Michelob Ultra. That is the only thing in the
Gotta be
fridge.
concerned about their calorie intake, of course.
I have a Michelob Ultra because I can't bring myself to have a White Claw. I just can't do it, so I have a Michelob Ultra. And then we're just all hanging out. And I see all these grown-ass men get drunk on fucking White Claw over the next 3 hours while watching the game. And at that point, I know that this year is incredibly fucked up because now everyone is drinking White Claw, and that's how we will end this podcast. Don't drink White Claw. Drink regular beer, and let's move on.
Goodbye. That's it. We're done.